Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used trucks and trailers. Whether you're an owner operator or a fleet manager, I'll get the vehicles you need with a simple application and same day approval. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353 or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
Stay ahead of the curve with your commute. ADOT's I-10 Broadway Curve Improvement Project is making great progress. That means better travel times, safer commutes, plus easier access to work, schools, retail, and Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. Want to stay informed about upcoming closures and construction traffic? Good news, you can get real-time updates on the app, available at i10broadwaycurve.com. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Department of Transportation.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harman Solar Podcast at harmansolar.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
And welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of the Daily Blender on this July 1st, as we broadcast live from the Harman Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. My name is Randy White. Right over there, the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio. That is Keon Rose. You are the fourth dimension, and you'll be joining us via the text line at 888-368-1580. And by the way, Jeffrey left me a note before he went on vacation. Jeffrey O'Brien out this week on the vacay, on holiday, as they say in Europe. I understand he's going horseback riding, and I'm sure there's a variety of other things he'll be doing. But he wrote me a note to remind you all to pay your rent today, July 1st. Pay your rent.
Got to do it.
Got to pay the rent, man. Got to pay the mortgage. I paid mine today, thanks to Miss Kim. She takes care of me.
Mine's due Friday, so.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Good for you. When do we get paid? I don't even know when we get paid. It's a direct deposit for me.
It's the 5th. That's why I know it's due Friday.
Is that why? Okay. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So 888-368-1580 today on the show. I mean, can there be anything else that we talk about other than NBA stuff? I mean, a ton of NBA stuff happening this weekend.
Well, a lot of money getting thrown around.
Hundreds of millions of dollars changed hand this weekend. We're going to talk about that. Diamondbacks ended up winning the series against the A's. We'll talk about that a little bit. Also, the All-Star game coming up here the next few days or so. Ketel Marte, I believe, will be representing the Diamondbacks at the All-Star game. There's a World Championship team that's up for sale, in case anybody wants to buy one. proven world championship team, proven winners in a major market. It's up for sale. You can jump in on that. It's all on today's edition of the Daily Blender. Keon, first, how was your weekend, man? What did you're a single, ready to mingle type of guy? You out and about watching a lot of NBA this weekend?
Not as much as I wanted to. I caught a little bit of the Mercury and fever game. And then, but mostly I spent most of the weekend helping some of my friends move.
Uh-huh.
They were moving apartments and just needed an extra pair of hands. So, went out, helped them.
Well, you have been lifting a lot of weights lately.
Well, that's the thing is when you're the person that does that in your group of friends, you're the first person right after the person with the truck.
Yeah.
You're the next person that gets called.
Who do I know it's been working out lately?
Your biceps are large enough. You should help me carry these heavy objects. So
right.
I did that for 2 days for both days of the weekend.
I didn't do much of anything. I dismantled my granddaughter's princess tent that Miss Kim and I got for her for Christmas. It's now at her house. It's no longer taking up my front room.
Mm.
Actually, I didn't do that. Actually, my stepson did that.
Mm.
And other than that, I didn't do anything but wrench my back. So I've been down most of the weekend.
Oh, no.
So if you hear a squeal, much like a hog squealing, that would be me. Because the back is on the fritz today. And we didn't grill anything. It was too damn hot. Damn hot.
And the humidity this weekend.
Oh, my God.
It was like 20-something% on Saturday, and then it hit 31 yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very humid this weekend.
Insane.
Humid today, man. I don't know about you.
It is. I was really hoping with some of the rain that happened that it would kind of because it usually the humidity goes down after that, but no, still humid. Still humid.
Well, all right. I hope everybody in the fourth dimension is feeling well as well. Vermont Dog's already on the text line at 888-368-1580. He says the Phoenix Suns don't seem to be doing anything to improve the team this offseason. Being in Capel hurts, don't it?
I don't know if that's true. They just haven't made the big splashy signing. That doesn't mean they haven't done anything. And also, when you made the big splashy signing and trade of last offseason, do you really need to do it again? Like they did a lot of their dirt in the draft. They figured out what their weaknesses were as far as defense went and got a couple of guys that might be able to help. So I wouldn't say that what the Suns have done so far is nothing, but it's not going to be, the big $300 million deal that you see some of these guys getting right now that we're going to talk about later.
Mr. Wilbur says, like they say, Jeffrey, up yours and the horse you rode. Now, that's not nice, Mr. Wilbur. Jeffrey's not even here to respond. I might have to give you a 2-minute on that one.
It's possible. Because in addition to being just mean, it was also corny.
Pinocchio says, taking down the princess tent kind of cancels that fantasy Airbnb listing too, Randy. Beer me, please, and thank you. Well, I mean, the princess tent, part of the Airbnb thing? I'm not going to Airbnb my house.
People might Airbnb a room, but
I'm not going to Airbnb my house. And that princess tent was for my granddaughter. That and her sparkle bike, purple sparkle bike. She had to have that. So of course her papa went and got her a purple sparkle bike with the streamers on it.
I mean, it has to have the streamers.
Well,
it's not going to go
streamers.
fast.
Yeah. Let's see. Big George is on the text line. Good to hear from you, Big George. He says, "Hello, gentlemen. Happy Monday." Well. The Diamondbacks ended up winning 2 out of 3 from the Sacramento Athletics. So glad to have Zach Gallen back. Also glad to see them finally designate for assignment Tucker Barnhart. What a disaster that signing has been. Can they also designate for assignment Eugenio Suarez? He's killing us. Also had a bad error on the field yesterday. So that redeeming quality of his is also hurting us. Big George in a mood today, apparently.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to think that you designate Eugenio Suarez for assignment. Who do you replace him with? Do you actually think it's better?
They've got all kinds of guys. They've got Blaze. What's his face? And who's an infielder? He's more of a middle infielder. They got that other kid that plays third base when Eugenio's not in there. Is it Newman?
Is he doing better?
Hello, Newman. Well, I think his batting average is like 100 points higher.
So there's that. Okay.
He plays a good third base. Anyway, let's get going. I mean, we got a lot to talk about. Diamondbacks, I will say, Big George, yes, you're right. The Diamondbacks, you finally get some quality pitching, and look what happens. I've been saying it, and I will repeat it again. Good to have Zach Gallen back, and look how the team responded. If you don't have Zach Gallen in there, the A's probably win, and we lose that series. But Zach Gallen comes back, and look what happens. The offense puts up a 3 spot, and Zach Gallen and the bullpen hold the A's down. Got a big series coming up tomorrow night, starting at Chavez Ravine, when we take on the Dodgers. By the way, in case you Dodger fans start crowing a little too much, Diamondbacks and Dodgers are pretty close. I think we've split the 6 games that we have played so far. And since we're going to Chavez Ravine, I think the Diamondbacks back in May took that series from the Dodgers, and I think the Dodgers won the series here in Phoenix. So I mean, if history continues,
just saying.
I'm just saying.
Just statistically, no one's saying that anything's guaranteed. Just
saying. Just saying. Oh, by the way, they reported today the Snakes will move up Zach Gallen for July 4th.
Oh, you love that. You love to see it.
All right. So enough about that. We'll talk about them next hour. But free agency in full effect here. And there were a lot of things that happened that I did not expect. And there's a lot of rumors going around out there about things that may have happened and things that are still in the works, and late night phone calls by LeBron to players trying to get them to come over to the Lakers and play for the Lakers. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I didn't have the phone bugged, but I would assume that's why he's doing that call.
You would assume that anybody's doing that call for that reason. Like this is, as much as the league tries to police tampering, you kind of can't. All these guys know each other. They have phones. Not LeBron, because LeBron's like the oldest guy in the league, but everybody else is just, they played ball together growing up. A lot of them, the AAU stuff, puts a lot of these guys in the same circles from middle school, high school, college. So by the time they get to the NBA, like, they all know each other. LeBron is just connected because he's the OG. He just knows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he just knows everybody, and everybody grew up watching LeBron. So if LeBron wants your number, he can get your number, and he can give you a call, and there's nothing the league can do to stop him, really. So it would be dumb for LeBron, who has historically done this, to suddenly not do it. I absolutely believe LeBron is out there trying to recruit guys to LA.
Well, Klay Thompson, apparently that's the end of an era across the bridge in Oakland there. Klay Thompson leaving the Warriors, and he's joining the Mavericks, reportedly. Has that been finalized, or is it still pending?
It's still pending, because I believe like a lot of the details of stuff are going to be ironed out. So, when he officially signs, it's going to be either tomorrow or the day after, but it's about as done a deal as it's going to be. Yeah.
Klay Thompson has agreed in principle on a 3-year, $50 million contract with the Dallas Mavericks, which will end his 13-year run with the Golden State Warriors. Thompson's deal largely inspired by a chance to compete for a 5th title within the Western Conference, by the way, and against his former team, by the way, and on a team that was just at the finals, the Dallas Mavericks. The deal was negotiated by his agent and will require a couple of moving parts, one of them being a multi-team sign and trade scenario that sends Mavericks guard Josh Green to the Charlotte Hornets for 2 second-round draft picks. That, according to the Four Letter Network. What do you think about? Is that overpriced? Has Dallas overpriced Klay Thompson?
A little. They have overpriced him a little, but not a ton. I do think the 3 years, $50 million. So I don't remember exactly what the annual amount of that would be. Like, how much is he making per year? Because that's what the cap is considering. But the cap has gone up, and they needed a guy who can get a bucket. And they had two. They had Luka, they had Kyrie, and quite frankly, the Celtics were able to take both of those guys away. A guy like a Klay Thompson could potentially help. Now, I don't know what he gives you defensively, because that's part of the deal with Klay. Yeah. At this point in his career, after the Achilles, after the ACL, can Klay Thompson give you enough defensively? Because he did average 18 points a game. Like, it's not like the guy can't shoot anymore, can't score anymore.
Yeah, but doesn't he go ice cold? I mean, there are whole games that you put up 8 or 10 attempts and have no points.
Yeah, and certainly that happened even this past season when they were trying to make a run in the playoffs. He just fell apart in the play-in game. Yeah, I mean that's going to potentially happen as well. But the risk is that the reward is those games where he doesn't miss. So you are taking a bit of a gamble. It's not risk-free, basically. But is it a move that could work, could help? Yeah, and you do have to find a way to get better. What other options are there if you're Dallas? I do think that maybe Klay's not, to me, the best option. I thought that they needed to get bigger. I thought they got pushed around an awful lot when Porzingis was out there. And even Al Horford had moments where he just, at his age, Al Horford was pushing people around. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that Klay Thompson necessarily fills the biggest need, which I think was size, but he does help you in terms of the scoring department when Luka's going to get his, and he did in that finals, but Kyrie had some up and down games. Maybe bringing in another guy that can be a little streaky is not great, but your other options were to stay the course, which was not going to work. Like, if you run into Boston again, you're losing to Boston again. That's what's going to happen to you.
Well, I don't know, but we'll be talking about that. I think Boston's going to have a harder time getting to the Eastern Conference Finals this time.
Well, yeah, even if nobody in the East got any better, just because I don't think everyone in the East is going to be as injured next year as they were this year, where Boston plays Miami and there's no Jimmy Butler and they play the Pacers, and then Halliburton goes down in that series. Like the Celtics did catch quite a few breaks on their way to the finals. Even if no one got better, which they did, I don't necessarily know that it's going to be a cakewalk for Boston getting back.
Well, I don't know that, what is it, like 16 and 16.75 or something a year for Klay Thompson for 3 years. And I don't even, is the third year, is that an option year, or is it all three?
I think it's all three. I think it's
all right. So Klay Thompson has left Golden State. He's on his way to Dallas. There's still some moving pieces that need to happen. I'm sure this will be done sooner rather than later, and we will see how this pans out for the Western Conference. There was a whole lot of movement yesterday in the NBA free agency world. We've got it all covered for you here, and your texts at 888-368-1580. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Major League Baseball, the Diamondbacks are in Los Angeles to begin a 3-game series with the Dodgers. It's a 6-game road trip that includes a stop in San Diego. Tuesday's starter is Ryan Nelson for the Diamondbacks. He'll enter the game at 5-6 with a 5.69 ERA. Bobby Miller going for Los Angeles 1-1, an ERA of 6.75. Arizona getting a run and a half, minus 132 on the run line. The Dodgers minus a run and a half, plus 110. On the money line, Arizona plus 168, LA minus 200. Over under is at 8.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Dead battery on America's birthday? America's #1 battery destination is here to help. AutoZone has free battery testing and charging at every store, and batteries starting at just $79.99. With our 4th of July sale, we have savings to help you red, white, and do any other jobs you've been putting off. It's everything you need to get back on the road at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Do you need equipment for your business but don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used equipment. Excavators, forklifts, dozers, tractors, cranes, plows, and more. If it's essential to your business, I will help you get the money you need. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
With the first pick. Now that the draft is in the books, it's that time of the season when the team gets together, to get acquainted. Summer means mini camp, OTAs, then preseason. Keep yourself tuned to the station with all the insight, updates, and breaking news you need to know about the NFL offseason. If it's the NFL, we talk about it. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Welcome back to Daily Blender on this Monday, July 1st, 2024. As we are working our way till 6 o'clock tonight. Short week for us this week. Keon and I will be off for Thursday and Friday of this week. But Keon, you'll be back on the weekend, right? We've got uninterrupted.
Without interruption there. Yeah.
Sorry. Without interruption.
I will be back. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about because we'll have a couple of days missing of Blender stuff. So I'll try to keep the people filled in.
I know you will. And of course, the weekend, are they doing like a best of this weekend? Because they're big stars. Just asking.
Well, from what I understand, I think Ralph wants to be on. So we should have Weekend Warriors as well until otherwise stated.
All right. The text line is humming along here at 888-368-1580. The Tom says if the Klay Thompson can stay healthy, that signing by the Mavs is going to be huge for the Western Conference.
He stayed healthy last year for the most part. He didn't really have a ton of time missing. It was just, he had some games where he didn't play well. And some big games too. Like it was unfortunate, like the way that the season ended for the Warriors, because there were some games they needed Klay to play his best basketball and he just didn't. But I do think that Klay being option number 3 on this team, because when you look at Golden State, Steph's obviously option number 1. And then who was 2 for them? It's kind of Klay. I think that at this stage in Klay's career, Klay can't be your second best player. If he is, you're not going anywhere. And I think the Warriors realize that. But the Mavs are in a position where Klay would show up and he'd be the third best option at best.
I hope that's the way they play him, but you don't know. I mean, I've seen weirder things happen.
I've seen weirder things, but I just think that the Mavs are pretty well-run organization. Doesn't seem like something they do to have Klay come in and suddenly be the guy to carry the team.
Yeah. Mr. Wilbur says the Pac-12 network is officially off the grid. RIP Pac-12. Yeah, it's first day of July. It's official, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's officially 2 teams in the Pac-12.
The Pac-12, yeah.
And there's ASU and U of A are now in the Big 12, which is more like the Big 16 now.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of teams in there. It's just
Cabana Phoenix says the Suns should practice with the Mercury. Those girls are tough and so jealous or hateful of Caitlin Clark. Arena was full and mostly Indiana fans. 3 fights, and they lose even though Mercury has 3 All-Stars.
Yeah, they are tough, but also no one's jealous of Caitlin. They just play tough basketball in WNBA. I'm sorry. I refuse. I've been watching this league for 15 years. You're not going to tell me that suddenly the basketball is just tough and it's just at Caitlin. I watched Alyssa Thomas grab Angel Reese by her neck and throw her. So I'm not going to hear this. No. I'm sorry. You don't have a case there. That's just the league, man. That's just the league. I like it. It's like 80s. It's like the 80s NBA.
It's like 80s NBA.
I was born in 1990. Yeah. I miss the 80s.
Oh man,
I didn't get to see it.
I watched it. Yeah.
So I'm watching the WNBA, and I'm kind of getting to get a little bit of what I missed in the NBA.
And
you're not going to take that from me with this everyone's jealous of Caitlin narrative. Stop. I don't believe it.
The NBA was brutal before it went tasty free soft. Lost Toby says with Clay at Mavs, they might be the most hated team in the NBA. Most hated team?
Well, okay, to be fair, you have Luka, who has the most punchable face in basketball.
Well, that's true.
Kyrie, who I think wisely just shut the hell up last season, because he could have. Kyrie before that was just saying whatever, and it was just like, oh, look, I'm going to tweet a link to an anti-Semitic movie for no reason at all. Stuff like that. Like, it's very easy to hate Kyrie if you want to hate Kyrie. He also thinks the earth is flat.
But he hasn't been in trouble or done anything stupid since he's been in Dallas.
Yeah, he learned to shut the hell up. But if you still hold all that other stuff against him, then I can't really say no. Anti-Semitism is a really good thing to hold against somebody forever. So what do you want me to say? And then you have Clay, who's a little bit of at least among players, Clay can get under your skin. So I don't know if there are any fans that picked that up, but yeah, no, there's a potential for the Mavs to be one of the hated teams in basketball, really? Just based on their top 3, just based on the top 3 there. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you sold me. The moist one says, I wish LeBron would give me a late night call. Ooh.
We know, moist one, we know. And you're just going to have to figure out how to do that yourself. And then
I don't know why that sounded so creepy.
Because it's the moist one. Also, if you manage to make that happen, do us a favor and don't tell us. Just keep it to yourself.
Big George says, thanks, Randy and Keon. I agree. I can't believe all the free agency moves in the NBA this weekend. Klay Thompson leaves to Golden State for Dallas, significantly improving the Mavericks and, in essence, ending Golden State's dynasty. Now, wait a minute.
There were many steps skipped along the way there.
Yeah, whoa.
Because if the Warriors thought
Clay, go ahead.
I'll just say, if the Warriors thought they were ending their dynasty by letting Clay walk, they wouldn't have let Clay walk.
They tried to retain him.
Yeah, at a reasonable number. They just weren't going to give him the $50 million. That was the number he wanted from them. And then when Orlando picked up the phone and he asked for $50 million, Orlando was not like no, but hell no. And then he picked up the phone with Dallas, and the Mavs were like, yeah, we're a little desperate. We got to a finals, and we need something to get us over the top. Let's go ahead and see if we can make this work.
It's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing shakes out. Hamilton Porter. I'm sorry. Let me finish Big George's text. Okay. Yeah. Clay was part of the, winning 5 championships. I get it. But the fact that he leaves is not going to end this dynasty. I don't think.
No, I mean, he hasn't been the same player since he got injured in that finals with the Raptors back in 2019. He hasn't been the same player. Did they win another title after that? They did. And that's because Andrew Wiggins, for one season and for no reason that any of us can explain, was playing out of his actual mind. He hasn't played like that before, and he hasn't played like that since, to the point where the Warriors are trying to get away from Andrew Wiggins too. So I just don't know that you can say that this thing's over because Clay's gone. Clay's not the straw that stirs the drink there. It's Steph. And then for all of the things that happened with the heart and soul of that team, it's Draymond.
All right. So Big George, he also says Paul George to Philadelphia. Crazy. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. It is crazy. You're right.
I mean, I don't know it's that crazy, but
it is. I think
it definitely was not expected. Yeah.
No. In Philadelphia? No. Hamilton Porter says, Happy Bobby Bonilla Day, everybody. Well, yeah, can we talk about that in a little bit? So basically today is another installment in Bobby Bonilla's bank account from the New York Mets. And it was probably one of the most horrendous moves the Mets could have ever done. And it was all because of a Ponzi scheme that was going on.
and sort of the Shohei contract with the Dodgers is a version of that. Shohei is going to be getting paid eternally.
Well, Bobby gets paid until he's 72, I think.
Which is crazy.
1.2 million every July 1st.
Every July 1st.
Wow.
what a job.
All right, Donnie's on the text line. All these weak-ass moves to finish behind the Wolves in the West. Okay. How was this past year, Donnie? I wouldn't be too chippy about the year coming up here.
I don't know. If you're gonna gloat about where you finished in the regular season, that's kind of sad to me. If you didn't get to the finals, I don't know. Like, to me, that's the goal. If you don't get there, what are you doing?
It's good to hear you back, Donnie, after the demise of Timber Pups in the Western Conference Finals. Glad to see you're okay. Mr. Wilbur says Clay proved that he likes the wacky weed while at Washington State. In California, he had no problem getting it as well. Where he's going to get it now in Texas? Where is he going to get it now in Texas? Or is he gonna hope that they pass it to be legal in November?
I don't know what that has to do with his playing basketball, but
the wacky weed.
Yeah, as long as you don't smoke it while you're playing, then you should be okay. I don't understand that, but also I have a brother who lives in Texas, and if you know who to talk to, you can get it. So it's not legal, but you can get it.
Cabana Phoenix is on the text line. It says, Kia, I agree. The WNBA plays tough. They have.
Now, see now I didn't see the text, but I know from Randy's reaction, you said something out of pocket, sir, and I'm not here for it.
They have hostile act fouls, not flagrant fouls. I'm sorry, you have wasted 15 years of your life watching.
But the
hostile
thing is,
act fouls.
But hostile act fouls. But they don't. It's just, to me, I don't know. Let me just say that I seem to be talking to a lot of people who have never played basketball that is physical, and I don't know what to do with that. Like, I grew up playing basketball in DC. Someone is bleep talking you all the way up the floor. At some point, they're gonna have to get hit, just because you just can't let people talk to you that way. I didn't waste 15 years of my life. I enjoyed watching every second of that sport. I thought that I was watching great players, watching great play. I've seen a lot of great players come through that league. Maya Moore, Candace Parker. I don't feel like I've wasted any time at all watching it. That's why I watched it for 15 years. I was enjoying it. Now, whether or not you can enjoy it, I don't know. I like tough basketball. I've always loved tough basketball. That's how I played. Again, not at any high level, but that's how I love the game. And watching the NBA and watching some of these guys that are great defenders not be able to do what they do because you can't even touch anybody, I'll take hostile act fouls over if you sneeze on a guy, he's shooting two and you've got a flagrant. Like, I pick which one you want. I'll take the one with the physicality and the actual heart and passion and grit. Because these women, this whole time, the last 15 years, they haven't been making any money, which means they're just playing it because they love the game. And everybody that I talk to that says, I don't watch the NBA anymore, they say, because the guys don't care, because it's just, they just want to collect a paycheck and go home. Okay, then go back and watch the soft basketball. What are you coming to me for?
All right. The Tom says, as a Spurs fan, I really like Chris Paul is going to give some big brother mentorship to Victor. It's the long game for the Spurs.
Well,
long game.
Yeah, I mean, with the Spurs, you're starting with Wemby, so you know that you're still not going to win a ton of games yet because you got to fill out that roster. But I will say this though, it's not the Wemby advice that I'm getting from Chris Paul. The Spurs just drafted a point guard, Stephen Castle. I'm looking for him to get that advice from Chris Paul. That seems interesting to me.
All right, 888-368-1580. We got a few more on there. I'll get to them in just a second, but we got to cover more because we got a lot of NBA stuff to talk about today on the Daily Blender. Like this one, Paul George, 76ers. I didn't see it coming. You didn't see it coming. I would have thought Paul George would have remained with the Clippers and tried to do one more run with it. But I understand why he took off. I mean, let's just face it. The bottom line is that they can't. He can't. He can't stay there because even though James Harden is there, which helped the team, the claw has been a question again. When he plays, and he played a lot this year up to the playoffs.
Yeah.
He played a lot this year, and he helped them. And it was good to see him back in form, it seemed like. But then he ghosted him. I'm talking hip Trinity again. But he did. He ghosted him at playoff time. What's Paul George supposed to do? Now he can go to Philadelphia, and if Joel Embiid stays strong, and Maxey signing his extension, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And he's getting paid $212 million on a 4-year. I mean, think about it. He could get a championship with. That's why I think Philadelphia, if Joel stays healthy, if Tyrese Maxey stays healthy, and if Paul George stay healthy, then I believe that Philadelphia could be a team to be reckoned with in the East. I don't think the Celtics just walk through kind of like what they did this year.
No, I don't think so either. This does make the 76ers better. Yes, Joel Embiid has to stay healthy. And yes, that's a very, very big if with Joel Embiid. He's been injury prone in his own right as well, but I don't think nearly to the same extent that Kawhi Leonard has. Kawhi Leonard averaged 24 points a game last year.
Yeah.
And then just couldn't play in the playoffs. Just didn't have enough left to go. Paul George was a little banged up too. And so like, if you need somebody to help carry the team a little bit, like who are you turning to? I think Paul George can help with that in Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey, when Joel Embiid went out, I think showed he can carry the team. He was capable. He handled his business very well. And then Embiid came back and tried to gut it out. Well, I think they just need to take a lot of pressure off Embiid come playoff time, because it seems to happen every year where Embiid just gets a really bad injury in the playoffs. And I think a lot of that is they're trying to run their offense through Joel Embiid, who is just I don't want to say he's injury prone, but the way that he plays is physical enough. It does wear on him and it does break him down a little bit. I think Paul George can take some of that pressure off. So
Paul George is 34 though. I mean,
he's
no
34, but 34 is still, it's the back nine of your prime, but you're still in it. Like Paul George can still play. Paul George can still score. He can still defend at a high level. He adds a lot, and he's somebody who's not selfish. So if it's a game where Joel Embiid is taking over and Paul George doesn't get to touch the ball very often, he's not going to make a big stink about it. If it's a Tyrese Maxey game, Tyrese Maxey had a couple of 50-point games last year. If that's the game where Tyrese Maxey is cooking, Paul George isn't going to be bitter about it or salty about it. He's just going to go out there and handle his business. He's the perfect fit for a team like that.
He's pretty low key too. Paul George doesn't really lose his cool that often.
He's got
and he's pretty wise as a basketball player now that he's got some time in the league. You're right. He is 34. He knows how to take care of his body, and hopefully he can be a positive attribute to this team.
And I think it'll make the Eastern Conference a lot more interesting, because that was something they were missing last year, was just a lot of teams that had a real genuine shot at being, you know, an actual NBA title contender.
And they added, by the way, Kelly Oubre Jr., which is one of my favorite players because I like the way he goes about the game. Again, another if Kelly Oubre can stay healthy. There's a lot of ifs on this 76ers team, but if they stay healthy, I think they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they're as deep as anybody. The top end of that team, the guys, they're now big three with Embiid and George and Maxey. That big three, I would put up against any other big three in the league, and I would feel pretty confident that they could come out on top.
All right, we've got more text on the text line I see you, Moist One. I see what you're trying to do.
No.
No. All right, so when we come back, we've got some more NBA to talk. We got some baseball on the way. The All-Star game has changed the home run derby rules. We'll talk about that next hour. It's all ahead here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Need a boost in capital or a flexible line of credit for your growing business? Hi, I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital. I can help you get the money you need fast. The process is a breeze with a simple application and same-day approvals. No more waiting, no more hassle. Just a straightforward path to securing the funds you need faster and easier than asking your banker. So call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
This summer, click into easier yard cleanup with same-day delivery from the Home Depot. Click into clearing overgrown grass or weeds with effortless gas-like power. And click into the convenience of a battery platform compatible with over 250 tools with the Milwaukee M18 fuel trimmer, now for just $199. Click into power with 4th of July savings now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
Jane, I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
Or being a dog person and a cat person.
Who wants a treat? Who's a good boy?
Or like being an extrovert and an introvert.
Woo! This is so fun! I can't wait to go home.
At T-Mobile, you don't have to choose. You can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how much you can save with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, when you switch, you can keep your phone and we'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device, credit service, and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Download our free sports app and stay up with all the latest sports news, scores, highlights, and more. Or stream us live anywhere at 1580thefanatic.com. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Arizona's home for sports.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender, segment number 3 as we head for 6 o'clock tonight. Been talking NBA, free agent action, a whole bunch of it. There was some other things that happened over the weekend we'll get to in hour 3. But this NBA thing, I mean, we've got to talk. So I feel like I didn't see this coming, but I feel like. So did you see where the major owner of the Celtics wants to sell the team now?
Yeah, I did see that.
Majority owner Wick Grousbeck wants out now. It's 2 weeks after winning the World Championship. Forbes has valued the Celtics at $4.7 billion. That was in 2023. Now that they've won another championship, what do you think they're worth?
Probably pushing 5, if not 5, like 5 directly. It's then look, it's the perfect time to sell. You sell high, you buy low. So the Celtics are worth this amount of money. If you can just walk away with $5 billion and your kids don't have to work and your kids don't have to work and their kids don't have to work. There's some people who look at that and go, you know what? I'm an NBA championship owner and I can just walk away with a boatload of cash.
The franchise, again, was valued by Forbes in 2023 at $4.7 billion. You know how much the investment group led by Grousbeck, how much his group paid for the team in 2002?
Oh, 2002. I don't know what the number is, but it's going to be silly how much lower it is than what the team is worth now.
$360 million is what they bought the legendary Boston Celtics for in 2002.
It's just, it's like a third of $1 billion.
Damn! If we could only get our money together, I got $39. I think I could throw in.
I got like $50.
And we got 89. Now we just got to get Jeffrey to come up with the rest. Can you imagine that though?
I actually can't. I genuinely cannot. It's hard to get your head around because when you throw out numbers like, oh, that's $1 billion, it's such a big number. I don't even think that most of us are capable of comprehending how much money $1 billion is.
Don't you think? I think like I have a theory on this. You know how the World Championship rings are getting more and more expansive and gaudy and luxurious. I think he's trying to get out of having to pay for all those rings.
I don't know about that.
I think he's trying to get out of it. I think if he sells it, then the new owners have to buy all that stuff.
All the Tatum jerseys that are in brown jerseys are being sold, and all of the season ticket holders are obviously going to re-up for next season. I don't know, like this. I don't think he's worried about that. I just think that like there is a point where this bubble of teams' values just going up forever bursts. Like it can't go on forever. At some point, one of these teams is not going to be sold for what it's actually worth, and then everybody's going to try and get out while they can. Why not just get out while you have the $5 billion that the team is worth?
Here's a press release released today by the Boston Celtics. Dateline, Boston, Massachusetts. The Boston Basketball Partners, LLC, the ownership group of the Boston Celtics, announced today its intention to sell all the shares of the team. The controlling family of the ownership group, after considerable thought and internal discussion, I'm sure, has decided to sell the team for estate and family planning considerations.
Listen, the thing that we're talking about here is that the team will not be worth more than it is right this second. Because if you run it back next year and you don't win a title, then you're probably not making the same amount of money. If you sell somebody a team that you can buy this team, and the day you become owner, you have the number one team in basketball. That does mean something.
Yeah, it means if you got about $6 billion, you can buy it.
Yeah.
The managing board of the ownership group expects to sell a majority interest in 2024 or early 25, with the balance closing in 2028, and expects Wick Grossbeck to remain as the governor of the team until the second closing in 2028. So he's going to sell his shares, remain as governor of the team, and draw a paycheck. Jeez. And then he will go away after the second closing. Wow. I mean, just wow. See, that's why these guys have money. They know how to make it.
Well, the thing is, a lot of them start off with money. You can lose it. You can lose it if you're dumb, but it's easy to make money. It's easy to make money when you have money. There are investments and risks you can take, like buying an entire basketball team for $360 million. I didn't have $360 million in the first place. I'd have bought a sports team too if I had $360 million lying around. I just don't.
Oh my goodness! This is Berg's chance to jump in on a ownership group. Yeah,
just check your couch cushions, my guy. See if you got
Berg
five bills lying around.
let's get busy on that, Berg. 888-368-1580. Celtics also extend today. A lot going on for the Celtics today. They extended White. That was my guy, Derek White.
Derek White's cool, man.
Man, he's a basketball player. So Derek White, he got paid. He got $126 million in his extension. So he's going to be there a bit longer.
I love what Brad Stevens has done, man. He doesn't get nearly enough credit. He stepped away from being the head coach. He moved into the front office to be the general manager. And ever since that moment, he has made but maybe one or two bad decisions as the general manager of the team. And anything any mistake he made, he fixed and put together a championship team. And now he's doubling down and he's paying all these guys. He's paying Derek White because of what he's proven. He's paying Jason Tatum because of what he's proven. So like, I just like what the Celtics are doing right now. Like, this is the situation where you decide to go completely over the cap. Is we've won a title, we're running it back.
So early in the season, Derek White played a sixth man role. And I guess because of an injury or something, he earned his way into the starting lineup, and he was on the starting lineup for the remainder of the season, earning second team all defensive honors each year for the past 2 years, and establishing himself as one of the league's premier two-way guards. Meaning he could play offense and defense, man.
And not just play offense and defense, but defensively, you could make the strong case that Derek White is the best defensive point guard in basketball. You'd have a tough time arguing it.
Yeah.
He's that good.
He is he's a player that, he's got that old school vibe about him. He plays hard, he hustles. He doesn't really have an ego about himself.
No.
He goes about the game the right way, I think.
Like
he's always hustling. I don't ever see the guy laying back after he's been fouled arguing. I don't see that out of him. And I think that Boston has got themselves a great guy.
Yeah. And look, you got guys.
Wish the Suns had him, man. Wow.
Yeah. That's listen, I think that's the kind of player that the Suns have tried to draft. And Ryan Dunn kind of fits the bill of like that kind of player. He's got to get the offensive side of his game up. But I do like Derek White a lot. I do think that, when you look at some of the other guys in this league that try to be strong defensive players like Dylan Brooks, like Marcus Smart, there is an element of their game where they feel like they have to be a villain. Derek White doesn't do any of that. No. That's a lunch pail guy. He takes his lunch pail to work.
He shows up. He does his job, man. He plays hard. He plays the game right.
He's very unselfish.
I don't hear him complain about anything. I see him go about his business, man. And I'm glad that Boston has seen his value. And see, that's what championship teams do. They get the people there. They see their value, and they keep making them want to stay there and play hard for that team by showing them value and respect.
Yeah, and I believe Derek White was originally a Spur, so like that's a move that the Celtics made to bring him in because they saw the value. And on the timeline that the Spurs were on, they just weren't a title team, so there was no point in hanging on to Derek White for them. And Boston was able to take advantage of that, and good for them.
Mr. Wilbur on the text line says, Bill Belichick and Rob Gronkowski, and wait for it, Tom Brady, new owners of the Celtics.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
All right.
I don't think the three of them could put together $6 billion.
I don't even think that Bill and Tom really want to spend that much time together. Like they respect each other, but they just, from everything that you read about them, they're not friends. They're not enemies. They don't hate each other, but they don't, it's not like they hang out.
I think they respect each other, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Keon, a Brunswick guy, says, thanks for not yelling in the first hour of the show. I'm driving my kids home from soccer practice, and the show is very enjoyable. Does Jeffrey bring the bad Keon out? Sometimes
there isn't a bad Keon. There's just stuff I get fired up about and stuff that I don't. Brunswick guy, you are Canadian, and I'm not taking your advice. It's just, like if I want to yell, if there's something that gets me fired up in that way, it's happening. You're not my boss. When I get my paychecks, I don't say Brunswick guy on it. So I don't know why your input is required here. Oh wait, it's not. I didn't ask for it. Nobody did.
Wow. Damn.
Like it's just this. If I yell, Brunswick guy says something. If I don't yell, Brunswick guy has to talk about it. Brunswick guy, you're Canadian. Just listen. Just listen.
Just shooting fire right out of the box at Brunswick guy today.
Straight fire.
Just shooting fire at him.
Just listen. That's all. And
listen.
You are dropping in American affairs, sir. Just listen.
Quiet Cannon says the thing going on with the Boston Celtics is about billionaires managing their assets. Well, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of team owners see this as an investment, and some of them are bad at it. Some of them think it's an investment where they show up, they buy it, and then they try to let it just sit there and acquire money, as opposed to, like what the Celtics have done and what a lot of other teams have done, which is I invest in it. And then when it's time to cash out, like you win a title, you go on an unbelievable run where you just squash everybody for the entire playoffs. Hey, all right. Time for me to go get my chips from the table and cash out, man.
What's wrong with that? I mean, you're investing in the team. You make it a winner. It's a world champion. You cash out. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. And hey, look, like I said, like these team values are not going to continue to go up eternally. There has to be a time where if you see this as an investment, you have to cash out. Because if the whole thing, if it drops, 20% in value, that's a couple $1 billion in the case of some of these teams.
Big George says, Keon, I think you're right. I foresee sports teams being the next bubble to burst, just like the 2008 housing market. 15 years from now, you'll hear Steve Gurich doing ads on the radio about learning lessons from the great sports teams bubble bursting.
I mean, potentially, I don't know if it's the next bubble to burst, but it will, because it's just that's how this whole thing works. You just can't keep making money forever and ever and ever and ever. It may not be a complete burst. It may not be back down to zero, but if you drop 15, 20% in value, that's a lot of money gone.
Wow, Silly Wabbit on the text line says, hey, Brunswick guy, sit back and eat your poutine and dream about having a Canadian Football League with an actual full-length field. Wow. More fire coming out at Brunswick guy. All right, well, that's hour one in the books. We've got two more to go. I'm sure we're going to hear from Brunswick guy next because he's sitting right here on the text line queued up, and I can't wait to hear that. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, where we continue talking NBA free agency next over most of these same radio stations.
July 4th doorbusters are happening now at Lowe's. For a limited time only, save $70 on a Charbroil 4-burner Performance Series gas grill. Was $249, now $179. And get 50% off Harbor Breeze 48-foot LED outdoor string lights to brighten up your patio for summer. Shop these deals before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 7/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
This summer, click into easier yard cleanup with same-day delivery from the Home Depot. Click into clearing overgrown grass or weeds with effortless gas-like power. And click into the convenience of a battery platform compatible with over 250 tools with the Milwaukee M18 fuel trimmer, now for just $199. Click into power with 4th of July savings now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
It doesn't get much better than having a job you love, working with people you love, children. And when you become a certified childcare provider, you can spend your days surrounded by your favorite people. Enjoy a fulfilling career caring for up to 4 children in your home. You'll get to run your own business, support children's development, provide parents with peace of mind, and make a difference in your community. Get certified to become a childcare provider at azchildcare.org. Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Economic Security.
Attention business owners, do you need zero money down financing on new or used equipment? Meet Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, your gateway to equipment financing that breaks the mold. JR Capital offers zero money down financing options on both new and used equipment, vehicles, heavy machinery, and more. It's a game changer, giving you the power to enhance your operations without slowing you down or denting your cash flow. Need a boost in working capital or a flexible line of credit? Dylan can help your business get the cash flow it needs fast. The process is a breeze too, with a simple application and same-day approvals. No more waiting, no more hassle. Just a straightforward path to securing the funds you need faster and easier than asking your banker. Call Dylan Cohen at JR Capital today at 602-834-7353 or click on Finance with Dylan at moneyradio.com. Call Dylan Cohen 602-834-7353 and get the money you need for your business today.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to hour 2 on a Monday edition of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. Right over there, the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio, that's Keon Rose, is in the box, pushing the buttons, spinning the turntables, and doing that thing he does. My name is Randy White, Jeffrey O'Brien on holiday today. You are the fourth dimension. Joining us via the text line at 888-368-1580. Last hour, we talked about a whole lot of NBA free agency, including the fact that the Boston Celtics ownership, now they want to sell the team. But what's funny to me is the terms of this thing, they're selling it, hopefully this year or next, a majority of the stake. And then the rest of it would be cashed out in 2028.
Because that's where we're at in this. Like you almost can't sell it all at once. These teams are too expensive. Like Josh Harris owns 2 other sports teams, bought my Washington Commanders, and he had to get a whole group of people together because you can't just be one billionaire buying a team anymore. It's not enough money.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get several people involved in this thing, and they've all got to be well-to-do.
Yeah, and then of course the league's gonna have to do a background check because I think we remember that one scam guy that tried to buy the Commanders as well. So like when these teams go up for sale, there are definitely people who are valued at billions, but now you actually have to look to see, do they actually have the money, or Were there shenanigans that they were able to be involved with that raised their valuation? And there's a whole thing there where you've got to be able to get people. So being able to sell the team in parts makes a ton of sense.
888-368-1580. Lots of text on the line here. Brunswick guy says, geez, I was just trying to compliment you, Keon.
It wasn't a compliment.
Get you upset. I'm sorry. No. I'll just smile, smoke a stoogie, and listen to a good Canadian.
Much appreciated. It's not a compliment. Only you think that me being fired up about sports is a bad thing. You are the only person who complains about this.
Is a stoogie like some sort of Canadian thing?
I think he meant stogie, but I couldn't tell you.
Oh, stogie.
Okay. But yeah, do what you got to do. But that's not a compliment coming from you, a man who whines and complains daily about things that Americans do. Just stop.
I got to tell you, Brunswick guy, if you're smoking a stogie, you're all right with me. What kind of stogie are you lighting up today, Brunswick guy? No, let me know. I got you.
Just
Lots Toby wanting to throw into our buy a professional sports team fund, Keon.
Okay.
He says, I got about 350.
Oh, okay. That would make you so far the majority owner of the group of us, which is fine.
Baker's Cocky Hens says Chicago will dominate the WNBA for years to come, and everyone will sign on to play with Reese. I hope someone pulls a Robert Ory on Caitlin Clark's nose.
Well, I don't hope that.
Why would you wish that on her?
I like Caitlin Clark. I
like don't know why you
plays. I
don't know why you would wish that.
I think she's got a little growing up to do, both as a player and as a teammate. There's some stuff there, but I don't hate her. I don't want this to be the Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark thing from the level of fans. I just want them to not like each other because it makes the games better for me to watch. That's it.
Huh. How did I miss this one? From Baker's Cocky Hens. Suns should sign John Bones Jones, Francis Ngannou,
just MMA fighters,
and show them who Nancy Kerrigan is and how Tanya Harding failed. This is the Suns' only shot this year. Take out all the other top players with broken arms or legs.
Yeah, first off, that's not going to be successful for so many reasons. So you injure one player in the fashion you are describing, you will be done playing basketball for the year. MMA fighters are not skilled enough to be on a basketball court doing anything other than injuring people. So
I wouldn't say that to them.
As basketball players, I don't think it's insane to say to John Jones, who does not play basketball at a professional level, that you are not good enough to play basketball at a professional level. And he's going to have to catch me to be mad about that.
Moist One says John Jones wouldn't be able to pass a drug test.
Well, that's true. That's also true.
Many
cocaine issues there. You got to clear that hurdle.
888-368-1580. So we talked about Klay Thompson heading to the Mavericks. Not a done deal yet. There's still got to be some moving parts that have to be put in place. We talked about Paul George heading to the 76ers. That took place last night. Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, if I'm not mistaken. The Celtics extending Derek White, and now Jason Tatum.
Wait, while we were doing the first segment of the show,
has also been extended to the richest contract in league history. That, according to reports, it looks as though that Jason Tatum. This is from senior writer Ben Rohrbach at Yahoo Sports. Jason Tatum and the Celtics agreed to richest contract, and I'm trying to find the $315 million over 5 years. And that report comes from Bleacher Report's Chris Haynes and the Athletics' Shams Charania. So Shams is he's very. You can be confident when you hear it from Shams.
If you hear it from Woj, you hear it from Shams. Those are the two guys. It's most likely true.
The deal supersedes the 5-year $304 contract Celtics teammate Jaylen Brown signed last season as the largest commitment in the NBA so far in history. The co-stars are owed more than $600 million it pays to deliver wins, and Tatum and Brown have led Boston to the NBA Finals in 2 of the past 3 years. $600 million.
Yeah. 53 mil for Brown next season, 54 for Tatum. They are a combined 68% of the Celtics salary cap.
you talk about salary cap hell.
But it's not hell because everybody that they need is already on that roster. So like being over the cap, if you're willing to pay it, you just won a championship with these guys. So you're not. The reason why the Suns are in salary cap hell is because it's pretty clear they need to get better, but they don't have the flexibility. The Celtics don't really need to get better. They just need to do it again, which is still not easy. And that has its own challenges and all of that. But you are obviously further along than any other team. Like you understand you don't have the flexibility to add anybody, but who would you need to add? You kept Derek White. You kept Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
You have Jaylen Brown locked up all the way through 2029. What else do you need to add? You got Drew Holiday. You got Porzingis. I mean, they're loaded. They've made a bunch of great moves. They took a little bit of a gamble on Porzingis, who's injured a lot, but he delivered throughout the regular season and played into an injury in the finals and played through it. I mean, they've taken risks, but they've all paid off. So what do you do?
I got to tell you, I mean, just wow.
They're not capable of doing anything else financially, but I wouldn't say it's hell if it worked.
Man alive. Well, there you go, everybody. This was not too long ago when we got on the air. This was happening as we went on the air. And it looks like the Celtics, not only are they being sold, not only have they expended, a $315 million deal on Jason Tatum to go along with 304 for Jaylen Brown, but they also they Derek White. When you're, it's good to be champion, man. They gave Derek White, 132
mil, 28 mil next year for Derek White. Whew. And it only goes up from there.
Damn. It's good to be in the NBA, and it's good to be world champion.
If I have a child, they are playing one of two sports.
Basketball
or baseball or basketball. That's it. Because you're not playing football and these non-guaranteed contracts, they can cut you at any second. Nope. You're playing guaranteed contract sports where either there is no salary cap or clearly you can ignore it. So that's where the Celtics are.
And then it goes on to the 76ers here. More free agency information. Where the 76ers, they have extended Tyrese Maxey. So not only are they getting Paul George on their team to help them, but they've also extended All-Star Tyrese Maxey. 5 years, $204 million. I mean, the money is just stupid, incredible.
They're just throwing it around. It is insane. And the thing
I
with
just
Maxey,
can't figure out how these people can afford this. This is incredible.
Well, they're billionaires. Is how they can afford it.
Well, you don't think the billionaires are putting it out of their money, do you? I mean these guys.
It's
these
money
guys
that
are
they
not. They make this on the by the organization, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, but it's ultimately your money if you're a player is coming from the owner of the team. Like that's who it's coming from. Now that person is also making money from the team, so it's not like they're donating money to players. Like no, their fans showing up, their TV deals, their jersey sales, there's food, concessions, parking, all that stuff, and they're making that money, and then they are reinvesting that back into the team in the form of trying to win a championship, which is the ultimate prize, the ultimate goal. And I don't think anything adds value to your team more than winning a championship does.
Yeah, gotta tell you.
And with a guy like Tyrese Maxey, who I think had a really, really breakout season last year, he was averaging 26 a game. They put a lot of weight on his shoulders in Joel Embiid's injury and in his absence. And he answered the bell. And Tyrese Maxey is 23 years old. Like he's not even in his prime yet. So for them, this is a really good investment because you can lock him up and now you don't have to worry about him going anywhere. And because the cap, for whatever reason, continues to go up year over year, one of these days it won't. But until that time, that deal's actually going to age pretty well.
This, all of these things we're talking about today really cannot be 100% cemented in place, meaning signed and sealed and delivered and all that, until the free agency signing moratorium ends on Saturday. So this coming Saturday is when everybody will put pen to paper and finalize everything that we're talking about today. Now, this Tyrese Maxey deal does not include an option, according to different sources. So I guess there's no option. It's just the length of the contract. There's no option out for Tyrese and there's no option out for the team, right?
Yeah. And a lot of these first time contracts, they go for when I say first time max contract for Tyrese, because he was just wrapping up his rookie deal. But usually if it's a 5-year deal, it's like 4 years and then the either team or player option, depending on who has more leverage in the situation. I think that speaks to what the 76ers are doing, that Tyrese Maxey didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to even have the option to go anywhere. He was just going to stick around for all 5 years. Yeah. And I think it speaks to how much the 76ers appreciate him as a player, that they didn't try to, see this as something as we don't know what this guy's going to be. Because for Maxey, he's such a hard worker. He shows up and gets better every single season. You just look at every stat, basically. Tyrese Maxey's improved and gotten better, and I think that he's going to be a cornerstone of that team for a long time. And you need at least 2 guys that can play at a high level if you want to win a title. They've got Embiid. I think Maxey helps. And now they're adding Paul George, which makes him even better.
Maxey averaged 25.9 points last year and 6.2 assists for the 76ers a season ago. It is going to be exciting to see how this works. I've already gone on record as saying I think that 76ers with this Paul George addition, I think this fits Paul George incredibly well, and it gives him his best chance to win a championship with a team that is his sole focus is making the playoffs and heading towards winning an NBA championship. And I think the Celtics are going to have a hard time this year repeating, because I think Philadelphia, if they stay healthy, and I guess that's the way for anybody. If they stay healthy, I think Philadelphia and Boston are going to be bitter rivals and meet probably in the playoffs, and it's going to be crazy. It's just going to be absolutely entertaining and crazy.
And I think the Knicks got better as well.
Did they? I hadn't seen what the Knicks had done.
Well, the Knicks had that trade for Mikal Bridges, and I think that becoming a better defensive squad was something that they absolutely needed.
Yeah.
You pair him with Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
I think the Knicks are a better basketball team than they were a year ago. And I think,
you're right.
Jimmy Butler wasn't healthy in the playoffs. So Jimmy Butler's going to probably be back. I'm very interested in what the East looks like next year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be the East is going to be a sort of a black and blue league, isn't it? They're going to beat each other up, aren't they?
Yeah. And it's starting to get a little deeper on that side of the NBA.
Mm-hmm. All right. Another big signing yesterday that I didn't expect. James Harden signs an extension to stay with the Clippers. I scratch my head at this because for whatever reason, I mean, James Harden has kind of become one of those odd characters in the NBA. But yet he always seems to land these big contracts. 10-time All-Star, former league MVP, agreed to a 2-year, $70 million contract to remain with the Clippers, according to Shams Charania.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't really.
What do you think about? I mean, why are the Clippers spending $70 million on him now that Paul George is gone? They bring him back in. Kawhi Leonard, clearly, like I said, he disappeared during the playoffs. You can't lean on him. Paul George is gone. What are they going to do?
I still think they need some help, but they were a good team with James Harden. James Harden showed up, started running point, and that's when the Clippers last year really started to ascend. So I think you got to keep James Harden, and $70 million isn't that bad over 2 years, because that's basically $35 million a year. And at that point, that's around what guys producing what James Harden produces are making. So it's not, it's not like they paid him an obscene amount of cash. They're not paying him like $50 million a year, like it's like he's Tatum or something. They're paying him $35 million. It's still a lot of money, but it's around the average of what other guys in the league are making. I think they do need him on the floor. And I think that finding a point guard right now is pretty tough. And if you already have one in James Harden, roll with that. And you really still need to hope that Kawhi is healthy, which you need anyway. Well, no matter who you bring in, you still need Kawhi. So you still have a giant if there.
I gotta believe they've got to do something with Russell Westbrook, because he opted into his $4 million 24-25 contract. So I heard somebody today talking about Russell Westbrook being on the trading block for the Clippers. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But boy, I don't know. The Clippers right now, they need to bring somebody in to play alongside Harden. It can't just be Harden and some young guys. Maybe it can. I don't know.
Maybe it can, but I still think it's going to be Harden. You still need Kawhi to be healthy. And then with Westbrook, I think what they're hoping is you can maybe get a couple of pieces to help as well, because Westbrook just doesn't fit with that team. So having him in the second unit, having him come off the bench worked amazingly for them. But having him as a starter just didn't really work, because he doesn't gel with those guys, because he doesn't play anything like anybody on that squad.
All right. When we come back, more of your text on the text line at 888-368-1580. We'll talk more NBA. We've got some baseball on the way, and we've I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, but J.R. Puffenstuff is in the NBA. We'll talk about that around the corner here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Life is full of bright moments, but sometimes those moments can seem too far away. Trained and caring crisis specialists in Arizona can assist you with any situation, big or small. Free and confidential help is only one text away, day or night. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE. That's HOPE to 44673. These moments matter, and so do you. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-786-9300. 800-786-9300. 800-786-9300.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Welcome back. You are listening to 1580 The Fanatic Daily Blender.
I'm Keon Rose, and I am, I guess I'm stepping in right now because Randy, not back from the commercial break. I think he had to take a puppy to do some business. So we've been talking about NBA free agency this entire time, and we'll pick up there. We were about to talk a little bit more about not necessarily a free agent. I believe that we were on the path there to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and one JB Bickerstaff moving from the Cavs to the Detroit Pistons as their head coach. So I'll let Randy take it away.
Well, I was just, is it JB Bickerstaff? I thought it was JR Puffenstuff. Is it? I heard I don't know. I just saw it kind of flash across the screen. I thought, wow, JR Puffenstuff is going to be the Detroit Pistons' new head coach.
It's JB Bickerstaff, which
well,
I like the hire.
So tell me, why is this a good hire for the Detroit Pistons?
So I thought that the Cavs did JB Bickerstaff dirty. He coached that team. They went to the playoffs. They got bounced out of the playoffs. I don't know how this was supposed to be JB Bickerstaff's fault in all of this. Donovan Mitchell wasn't healthy in the playoffs. I also don't love their roster. Like, I just think that there's a little bit of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland kind of do the same thing. So they're just times where who has the ball, who's supposed to take the last shot. And they really can't seem to be on the same page about that. But I don't know that that's Bickerstaff's fault. He tried to make that work. And quite frankly, for the last 3 seasons, he had winning records with the Cavaliers. They made the playoffs 2 out of those 3 years. I don't know what else he's supposed to do. I just think that he did the best that he could. The Cavaliers wanted to move in a different direction. I guess to keep Donovan Mitchell happy. I don't know what his relationship with Donovan Mitchell was, but I do like JB Bickerstaff coaching young players, developing young prospects on that team. He had Evan Mobley as a young player on that team. Evan Mobley got better every single year. Darius Garland got better every single year. So I like Bickerstaff a lot. Now, I just don't know how much winning you're going to do in Detroit. You're going to go to Detroit and coach a team that's not very good and one that needs to improve in a variety of different ways. But as far as trusting him to develop young players, I do trust him to do that. And if they're patient with him, more patient than they were with Monty, because come on, man, 1 season, like, they're still going to be bad. But if they're patient, I think Bickerstaff can be really good for them.
So how is he different than what Monty was with this young team? Because everybody thought Monty was going to be a great addition and help these young players, and clearly it didn't work. It was a bad experiment. How is JB going to differ in that area?
I think that JB has, a lot of. I think he's a lot more aggressive of a coach than Monty is. I think Monty is a little bit more of a read and react kind of guy when it comes to especially offensively. I think he sits back and he kind of waits for the game to come to him, and then he tries to figure out what to do after that. JB's trying to take the fight to you, man. And I think that when you have some of these young players and you have all of that energy and that youth, maybe not experience, but you have a lot of guys that are just amped up and ready to go. Maybe JB's style might be better for what that roster is. But if they think that they're going to hire JB Bickerstaff and win 30 games next year, like that's not happening. They're probably going to win at max 20. I mean, there's still a roster that's depleted in a bunch of very different ways, and they need a lot of help. So we'll see.
He's got a big job ahead of him. Over the last 4 seasons, the Pistons have combined to win 74 games. The last time Detroit won a playoff game, the 2008 Eastern Conference Finals, only a handful of current NBA players were even in the league, and Detroit's entire young core was in elementary school. Since then, the Pistons have made the playoffs 3 times, getting swept out of the first round each time. And now they have a big job ahead of JB Bickerstaff, who I've heard nothing but good things about. And I think this is a good move. I wouldn't have cried if the Suns had picked up JB Bickerstaff. So I think he's a quality coach, and I agree with you. I don't know what he did so wrong in Cleveland that he would have been removed from there. But, hey, it's going to work out for the Detroit Pistons in their favor on this. 888-368-1580. That is our text line. And Wiggy My Piggy says, Randy, it's HR puffin stuff. Oh, thank you. I see.
I didn't realize how specific that was.
Yeah. I thought it was JR Puffin stuff. HR Puffin stuff. Okay, I remember. Baker's Cocky Hen says, best move Philly made so far was letting Tobias Harris leave. Really?
Yeah, because they were paying him a lot. I don't know. Who is Tobias Harris' agent? Because they have been getting Tobias Harris, and he's a good player. I don't want to make it seem like he's not. But they've been getting – that agent has been getting Tobias Harris contracts above Tobias Harris' pay grade for a while now. And, yeah, I don't think that it made sense for the 76ers to be paying him all of that money for – he's a 3-and-D guy. You don't ask Tobias Harris to take over games, and they were paying him borderline takeover games money. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. The Tom says, wow, that's a lot of money for Tatum. I can remember big dog Glenn Robinson signing a 10-year, $68 million contract before they had a rookie cap. You remember that?
Oh, me? I do not, actually.
No? Yeah, big dog Glenn Robinson. 10 for 68.
Which would be laughable now. Like there are role players. I don't even know if you saw what the Thunder gave Isaiah Hartenstein. It's like 3 years, 70 mil. That's a role player. He's a good role player. I don't want to diss Isaiah Hartenstein, but that's a role player. $70 million.
Yeah. Hefty Lefty says the current ownership group is genius. Win a title, sign massive deals that will trigger the apron and tax, sell high, and get out before the tax hits.
And bounce. Yeah. Then you don't have to pay it.
Brunswick guy tells me that he's smoking an H-Town Casada España Lancero on the back porch. Cheers to you, my friend. No, cheers to you. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's wonderful for you. All right, we're moving ahead here. The NBA free agent period is just bonkers. I mean, it's absolute crazy. And we talked about James Harden. We talked about JB Bickerstaff, who doubles as HR Puffin stuff. But this is one you put in, Keon, about there's a report out there. Lakers offered Warriors D'Lo for Clay in a sign and trade. How close were they to that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how close they were. I couldn't find that in the report, but that the Lakers were very serious about it and really hoping for that to go through. The Warriors declined. I just don't think that they were in love with D'Angelo Russell for a couple of reasons. One, he plays the same position as Steph, so like maybe as a backup point guard, but then are you going to be paying D'Angelo Russell all of that money to be a backup? Doesn't make any sense. And then if you were to start, D'Angelo Russell does not play defense. Like the biggest weakness the Lakers had last year was him. Teams were looking for him on the floor. They were hunting him as specifically, and they were going after him and trying to go, find the best shot available. I think it's a smart thing to do, but the fact is D'Angelo Russell was a clear and obvious defensive liability out there. So it didn't matter what he did offensively, which was not bad. He was pretty good. Doesn't matter. You have to be able to play some level of defense. You have to be able to offer some resistance or teams will find you. And the NBA is not like the NFL. In the NFL, you're running plays. You've got to change up a lot of different things. You've got to trick people. You've got to set up a play in the first quarter so that you can run some kind of action off of it in the fourth to deceive a team because they saw something and then you use their over aggressiveness against them. In the NBA, if I can run a play against you 15 times in a row and you can't stop it, I'm going to run it 15 more times until you figure it out. And the Lakers couldn't stop it because D'Angelo Russell was out there being a swinging gate. He couldn't stop anybody. So the Lakers, just a matador. So they want to get him off the books, but like the Warriors are like, look, we're trying to win a title too. What do we want with this guy that can't defend a soul? Like nothing, nothing at all. You can't hide him. We already have to hide Steph because he's a little small in his frame. So teams already go after Steph, but Steph at least gives you effort. Russell doesn't do that. That's a problem.
All right, 888-368-1580 is the text line as we are rolling into 6 o'clock today. Remember, short week this week. We will be off for the July 4th holiday on Thursday and Friday. Jeffrey out on holiday himself. He'll be back on Monday. And I think, unless he can't find his way back to the studio. That was embarrassing that one time. I'll never forget that. But anyway, the blender will be back. We're on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, and we'll be back on Monday with the full crew on board. You're going to be here Monday, aren't you, Keon? I mean,
yeah.
You're not going anywhere, are you?
Not at all.
ESPN hasn't picked you up yet, has they?
Not to my knowledge.
All right.
Not to my knowledge.
Fox Sports hasn't been on the phone.
No.
Trying to recruit you.
No. Which that's the radio station of my entire childhood, right there.
Fox Sports or
Fox Sports? Yeah. I listen to the Fox Sports affiliate in San Antonio, the Ticket 760.
The Ticket 7. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. All right. So happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Don't you wish you could have a life like Bobby Bonilla?
I do.
According to CBS Sports, everybody, Bobby Bonilla, maybe you don't know who he is. Bobby Bonilla played baseball back in the 90s. And he was on many teams, including the Pirates. And he finished his career with the New York Mets. As part of a deferred salary arrangement in his last contract, which was in 2001, Bobby Bonilla would get paid every year on July 1st for 25 years. So he gets more than $1 million. It's like, I think 1.2 million or something along those lines. $1.193 million plus, to be exact. And he's been receiving that payment since July 1st, 2011. The reason that happened was because New York, they got involved in a Bernie Madoff scandal. You might have seen the movie or perhaps lived through the Bernie Madoff scandal. He took the damn New York Mets to town, and they were in his pocket. So Bernie Madoff now in jail and penniless. Meanwhile, the Mets have to continue hooking up Bobby Bonilla until he's about 72 years old. $1.19 million every July 1st because of that whole scandal. So happy Bobby Bonilla Day, everybody.
That's pretty fun, man.
Hey, man, I wish I could get locked into something like that.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
That'd be cool. Every July 1st, you just know you're going to get another $1 million.
You just sit there and look at your bank account just so you could see the money hit there. Yeah. I couldn't imagine.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll talk some Diamondbacks baseball. It's good to have your ace back, and the Diamondbacks got theirs back. Zach Gallen joined the team this weekend in that series against the Oakland Athletics. We'll talk about that and some other Major League Baseball stuff right around the corner here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can easily find coverage options that fit your budget. If only it was that easy to name your baby.
How about Jaden?
Nope.
Okay. Michael?
Went to middle school with a glue-eating Michael.
Sebastian?
Dated one in college.
How about Damien?
Vampire name.
All right. Greg?
Not feeling it.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Jeffrey?
Oh, love that one.
Wait, really?
No.
Find coverage options that fit your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law, not available in all states.
Life is full of bright moments, but sometimes those moments can seem too far away. Trained and caring crisis specialists in Arizona can assist you with any situation, big or small. Free and confidential help is only one text away, day or night. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE. That's HOPE to 44673. These moments matter, and so do you. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
As we plan for our retirement, there are 4 questions we need to ask ourselves or our retirement planning advisor. How much? How long? How safe? And what cost? Let's start with how much. That is, how much income we think we'll need each and every year for the rest of our lives, including all the activities we want to enjoy during our retirement, like travel, recreation, and entertainment. Plus the cost of housing, including repair and maintenance, taxes, insurance, and utilities, as well as the cost of healthcare, including expenses not covered by Medicare.
Enjoy safe, secure lifetime income of 5 to 9% for life, depending on age and deferral period, with no fee deductions and no annuitizing. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so let's compare free in Scottsdale. For more, visit IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com.
Discover the ultimate diamond buying experience, unparalleled quality at unbeatable prices.
Hi, I'm Diamond Dave, and at our Buy Appointment office, you'll receive truly personalized one-on-one service for your needs.
No high overhead of standalone stores or mall hours to pay for. We're direct diamond importers designing and manufacturing in-house, eliminating all the middlemen.
Stop overpaying at retail and enjoy serious savings on quality diamonds.
From the first consult to the final reveal, we'll guide you through every step, ensuring you get your dream diamond ring, necklace, or earrings without compromise.
Romantic proposals, anniversary splurges, or just because. Indulge in diamonds for less.
Call today for your private appointment for a dazzling diamond.
Call Diamond Dave at 480-397-2450, 480-397-2450, or follow him on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
1580 The Fanatic.
And at 1580thefanatic.com.
Your home for sports.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender. It's Monday, July 1st. Jeffrey reminded me to remind you, the fourth dimension, pay your rent. You'd be surprised how many people forget to pay their rent on the first of the month, if that's when it's due. I don't know if it's due. I mean, like Eon, you pay yours on the 5th, right?
Yeah. And that's just because I get paid on the 5th. So it just makes sense to set that up that way.
I mean, however you got it worked out, just don't forget.
Yeah. Got to
Pay your rent.
Or your mortgage.
Or your mortgage. Yeah. Paid ours, well, today. Bear Claw, Bernie Madoff died. Okay. Well, I'm still laughing about the whole thing with the Mets. Imagine how nice Shohei Ohtani Day is going to be in 30 years. I'll take that bet. See what I did there? Big George, no show on Friday. What am I supposed to listen to on Friday? San Diego Sports Talk Radio? Woof. Sorry, Big George. You know, every once in a while, Keon needs a day off.
Just every once in a while.
And when you can pack it together, Thursday holiday and then a Friday.
Yeah.
Which goes into a Saturday, which he has to work on Saturday, but then a Sunday. I mean,
you better believe I'm taking the day off.
I mean, Keon's living in the cool grass now. You know what I mean?
as opposed to living in the radio station, which is
that's
this is my
usually what
second.
he
This is my
does.
second home. I'm
Yeah.
here just about every day of the week. So
I remember those days.
Mhm.
I remember those days. Don't worry, it gets better. So the Diamondbacks wrapped up a series with the, as George likes to call them, the Sacramento A's, which is funny because they are going to be playing out of a Sacramento stadium until their stadium in Las Vegas is built, which I don't understand. I don't understand why they made that move, but be that as it is, they no longer will be in Oakland after this season. It's the final season. They came to Phoenix, and the Diamondbacks happened to get Zach Gallen back off the injured list, and he pitched on Saturday night, and he pitched pretty damn good. 6 innings, and it was a 3-0 win for your Arizona Diamondbacks, which goes to show you get your ace back in there, you get some quality pitching for your ball team, and you can hold the other team back from scoring a bunch of runs. You can win some games. So anyway, it's good to have Zach Gallen back. Corbin Carroll had a pretty good game yesterday behind Brandon Pfaadt, who pitched another 6, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned, walked 2, and struck out 8. This Brandon Pfaadt is going to be a good pitcher.
I think so. I agree with that.
I mean, there are like glimpses of greatness in this kid.
Yeah, and he does have obviously his bad starts, but like what young pitcher doesn't?
Right.
But the starts where he is good, he is consistent, he's solid, and then he has some of these other starts that are just you can almost see the future with him. Where
yeah,
that there are ace qualities.
Yeah,
in his game.
So final score yesterday 5-1 final. Corbin Carroll had a pretty good day at the plate. He had a hit, scored a run, and he drew a walk. Ketel Marte continues his torrid pace. He didn't have any hits yesterday, but he was walked twice, and he scored a couple of runs. And then there's Jacques Peterson. You don't know what to expect out of this guy. He's consistent at the plate. He's a solid DH. I wouldn't start him anywhere in the field, but solid DH. And he was 1 for 3. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. was having a good homestand. He cooled off yesterday. But how about Christian Walker? 3 for 4, had 2 walks. I mean, Christian Walker is starting to hit the ball, and not just a home run and then 13 strikeouts. Or a home run, 5 ground balls, and a couple of fly balls, and he's starting to hit the ball in the gaps, and it's good to see. It's also good to see that Randall Grichuk gets in the games, although he didn't have a hit last night. He didn't even have an official at bat. Geraldo Perdomo's back. He's doing well. He gets on the bases. He causes trouble. He's super fast. I mean, I still say this lineup, I'm not giving up on this lineup. I'm not giving up on this team. I still believe this team can do last season at this time. And Ralph predicted it. And last season at this time, the Arizona Diamondbacks were 22 games behind the Dodgers. Last season at this time. Was it 12 games? Maybe it was 12 games at the All-Star break. And look where they ended up. I don't see why everybody is so worried about the Diamondbacks. They've had some tough breaks with pitching. Their ace came back, and he's going to come back again. He's going to pitch on the 4th of July on 4 days rest, which really it's not 4 days rest. Really, it's 5. And he pitched Saturday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, that's 4 right there. And then he pitches on Thursday. But I think this team is good enough and they can catch fire at any time. This offense is good enough to keep them in games if they can just get some pitching, some starting pitching to be consistent. Have you heard anything about Merrill Kelly?
I haven't actually.
Mm.
Not since the last update where, they got him to just the point where they're throwing, and they're just trying to increase that distance on him. So I haven't seen anything beyond that. But again, I wouldn't rush that. Like that's definitely if you want to make sure that the guy comes back and stays back.
Yeah,
you take your time with it. You don't rush him back.
You want to see Merrill Kelly come back, especially during this second half push. I mean, you've got to maintain your 2 games behind, you're 2 games under 500. You're still in the race. You're not out of the race by any means. You're in 3rd place in the West. You're 10.5 games out of first, which doesn't mean anything. You're only like 3 games behind the Padres for second. The Giants are, a half game behind you. The Dodgers have not been playing great ball. They just got thumped by the Giants pretty good 2 times this past weekend. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to see the second half of this season. I still think the Phillies are the best team in the National League. I believe the Phillies are going to be the team to beat. The Dodgers just don't. And I wish Ralph was on the show so I could hear, what his thoughts are on the Dodgers. He follows them much closer than I do. But I know Shohei Ohtani's hitting home runs, and I know Freddie Freeman's doing his Freddie Freeman thing. But without Mookie Betts in the lineup, I mean, this is kind of hard. And their pitching staff hasn't been that great this season.
And they've been injured. I mean, if you want to talk about injuries for the Diamondbacks, you could talk about injuries for the Dodgers too. And, they have, I think, much higher aspirations because of the amount of money that they've spent.
Well, sure.
That they're not just going to be in the playoffs and win. I think the Diamondbacks have that same expectation too, based on what they did last year. But the Dodgers are trying to be the most dominant team in baseball, and they look good. But do they look like the most dominant team in baseball lately? Not really.
I don't think the Braves are out of it by any means. I think that the Braves can still pull off a late second half push. It's going to be hard without their guy, Ronald Acuna Jr.
This is his second ACL, by the way, Acuna.
Mm. Yeah, your Natties, it's not really the Natties' fault. The Mets have just been hot all of a sudden.
Yep.
they're a game under 500. I mean, they since Grimace showed up at the ballpark, they've been playing great ball.
I hate that so much. I don't want, first off, I don't want the Mets to have nice things, just generally. Secondly, the fact that it's Grimace, I don't know why. That bothers me.
Mm.
Could have been the Hamburglar, but no.
It could have been.
They went Grimace.
Well, the Diamondbacks go into Chavez Ravine next, and it looks like they're going to take on the Dodgers starting tomorrow night, which the Diamondbacks and Dodgers have split the series with each team taking 2 of 3 games on the road. Dodgers won 2 of 3 in Phoenix in April, and remember the Beekeeper game? They're calling it the Beekeeper Series now. And the Snakes went into Chavez Ravine the last time in May 20th through the 22nd. They took 2 of 3. Since that meeting, this is important to note. Since that meeting, the Dodgers are only 19-14. You would think they would be like, 20 and I don't know. It would be just something crazy, but they're 19-14 with $1 billion payroll. And meanwhile, Arizona is 17-17 since that meeting in May. Zach Gallen will be moved up on 4 days rest, which really is 5 days. I mean, by the time he pitches, the Gallen start will be on July 4th, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun weekend series.
Oh, yeah.
Dodgers, Diamondbacks, final series before the All-Star break. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I encourage you to get by a TV somewhere or buy a Southwest airplane ticket and move or fly over there and catch the game at Chavez Ravine, if you dare. 888-368-1580 is the text line. Beer Bob, weren't the Diamondbacks like 12 games above the Dodgers last year about this? No.
At no point.
No. In April and May, they were good. In June, they started to lose, and by the All-Star break, they were behind. They were behind the Dodgers. And Ralph said something like 11 games, or I don't know. I remember what it was, and it was exactly that. Trust me, I hated it. They had some injuries last year around this time. So
this time last year, get the Diamondbacks were 50-35. And the Dodgers were, hold on, let me get there. The Dodgers were 47-38. So not anywhere near 12 games.
No.
It was like 3.
Yeah. So the bottom line is the Diamondbacks are still in this thing, and it's good to see Zach Gallen. He was sharp. He looked really good. In that game and I think it was a perfect game for him to be in too. He had all his stuff. He looked rested. He looked refreshed. He was moving fine. I didn't see any tweaks in his motion to try to preserve that hamstring. He looked like he was doing very well. And you know what I say about hamstrings? They're one of the toughest injuries for a pitcher or a base runner to get over. I mean, pitchers, you're using your legs. That's 2/3 of the chair of pitching. I mean, you've got your arm, but you've got to use your lower body to generate that force.
And isn't it his push off leg? If I'm not mistaken,
was it? Yeah, I think it was. I think you're right.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah. That's if you're gonna have a hamstring, you'd rather it be the other leg. But if you're the one you're pushing off on, like I don't know how you do that with a bad hamstring. I had a hamstring that I tweaked once, and I had trouble standing up. Like it just the muscle just wouldn't move. Oh. It wasn't a pain thing. It was just literally I couldn't move my leg.
Yeah. So it's going to be a great series. Diamondbacks in action against the Dodgers coming up this weekend in Chavez Ravine. Another little piece of baseball information here. You know how I hate the All-Star Game Home Run Derby? Yeah, well, I hate it now even more. The MLB has announced some rule changes to the 2024 Home Run Derby format. Here is what's going to happen. The rule changes being about this, approximately somewhere around this. Again, it's going to be July 15th at Globe Life Field in Arlington. The rule changes are being instituted because players have been saying it's been too fast of a pace. It's not like a regular batting practice, which it's supposed to be like a batting practice. It's not supposed to be a race. It is a race. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be like batting practice. So the changes are this now. Within the competition's 3 timed rounds, players will see a maximum of 40 pitches. Within each of the competition's 3 timed rounds, the players will see a maximum of 40 pitches. And then what will happen is if they hit the long ball, they will be able to add some time. They hit it farther than 440 feet. If they can also earn a 4th out by hitting a 425-foot home run during bonus time. However, if he hits 2 home runs of 440 feet, there will no longer be any time, and he can keep hitting home runs until he's out or until he has beat his opponent. Each time limit round will stay the same with 3 minutes for the first two rounds and 2 minutes for the final. However, if you have two home runs of more than 440 feet, they shut the clock off and let you go. Hour number 2 of the Daily Blender, and more of your text is right around the corner. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-786-9300, 800-786-9300, 800-786-9300.
ADOT presents Terrifying Jobs.
Bull Rider, take 2.
Today we're talking with Clifford Maxwell, a rodeo bullfighter. His job? Distract raging bulls from going after thrown riders. Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah. Distracted drivers terrify me.
This message is brought to you by ADOT, CABA, and this station.
At Desert Wholesale Diamond, we pride ourselves on providing top-tier quality, unmatchable prices, and excellent service. I'm Diamond Dave, and my track record in the diamond industry dates back 4 generations. I've eliminated the traditional middlemen, providing you with direct access to wholesale markets.
I'm Jada Cantor, and we offer you the best diamond buying journey of your life. With 3 wholesale offices and a dedicated production team, we make it easy for you to buy diamonds at unbeatable wholesale prices.
Our 34 years of industry leadership proves our dedication, and we continue to lead the way in all areas, particularly in lab-grown diamonds.
Save yourself from paying retail. Experience the most pleasant diamond buying experience ever. Meet Diamond Dave and his team, who are all waiting to assist you with your wholesale diamond purchase.
Call Diamond Dave at 480-397-2450, 480-397-2450, or follow him on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
This is fire.
actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
Quiet, people, settle down because it's time.
For what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
And welcome everybody to hour number 3 of this Daily Blender for Monday, July 1st on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios in beautiful Scottsdale. Right over there, the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio, that's Keon Rose. My name is Randy White, sitting in for the infamous Jeffrey O'Brien, who's on holiday. He'll be returning on Monday, I think. Let's see here. The text line, which is where the fourth dimension is at 888-368-1580. And as Screaming Eagle says, guys, do you think the Yankees are going to win the AL? I do not. Unless something tragic happens to Baltimore, I think the Orioles are going to win the American League East. I think ultimately they will win the American League. The Guardians have been putting on a good showing. I haven't heard a lot about the Mariners, but I know the Astros have been playing some good ball as of late. The Yankees have been losing. So
I think the Mariners are playing pretty well, but I don't think that they're playing at that same level that the Orioles are. So, but I mean, they're in range. I don't think they're very far behind the Yankees.
No.
So.
But as of today, the Orioles are in first place.
Yeah, and they're playing lights out and have been all year.
And they've got that team going in the right direction. Monkey Puncher on the text line says, has Dylan Cohen accepted my date request? If things don't work out with Dylan, maybe Diamond Dave wants to go out. Really? Are you just going to go after people whose names appear on this radio station, or that's the strategy there? Interesting choice. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works for her. Interesting. I haven't heard from Dylan Cohen. I'm sorry, Monkey Puncher. I have not heard from Dylan. If I hear anything, I'll let you know. Big George, Randy, you describing the changes for the home run derby sounded like pig Latin to me. Sound unnecessarily complicated. Can't they just go back to the old rules? Well, I probably screwed it up, George. I'll be honest with you. So let me try again. Let me try to simplify it. The competition will look similar to what it was last year, except with these changes. Here's the changes. In the first round, all the guys will hit, and then the top four will move on to the semifinals. It'll be a bracket style with the top four going against each other based on the first round home run totals. Each round in the first round and semifinals will be timed. You will have 40 pitches. That's it. If you run out of time and you have 40 pitches and you hit your home runs, or you're out. If you don't hit a home run, you know how it is. That's the way it is. In the bonus rounds, if you hit a home run of farther than 425 feet, then you get bonus time. If you hit 2 home runs during bonus time of 400 and I think it's 420. Let me look here. If you hit 2 home runs of 440 feet or more, then they turn the clock off. It'll no longer be timed, but that's only in the bonus round. You can also earn a 4th out in the bonus round by hitting another home run 425 feet during the bonus time. Then you can keep hitting home runs until you have all 10 outs. And that's what Major League Baseball is choosing to do. I personally, I could give a rip. I think it's bad. I think it's a great show for fans. I think it's the wrong time of year to be doing it. And I've already given you that. And when Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani are not a part of this home run challenge, that's because these guys have their eye on a different prize and not going out there showing that they can hit these mammoth home runs. I don't like it in the middle of the season. Never have, never will. But I hope that clears it up for you, Big George. I hope that clears up the confusion and or pig Latin. 888-368-1580. So Kayvon Thibodeau on Saquon Barkley leaving. It's a business. Get paid when you can. According to Kayvon Thibodeau, I like saying that. Kayvon Thibodeau believes he's okay with Saquon's decision to leave the Giants as a free agent. And I think everybody else should be too. I know Giant fans are going to be fuming, and they're going to boo him incessantly when he returns to a Giant Stadium. But where were the boo birds yelling at the owners to pay Saquon when they screwed him out of getting paid the season before, and then they franchise tagged him, and then they paid Danny Dimes $200 million Where were the Boo Birds then?
Yeah. They only showed up after he left. And I understand Giant fans have a history of watching great running backs. Like that organization has found some gems over the years and have had some guys that are just, if not Hall of Famers, borderline Hall of Famers. But when it comes to Saquon Barkley, he was the best offensive player on the team, and it wasn't close. That's the thing that's killing me. And paying a quarterback just because you have to, I like to pay guys that are good, that are producing. Like if you want to overpay a guy like Dak, I actually understand that, because at least the guy is producing. Sure, it's just regular season. You'd love to see the playoff wins, but at least you've got that. Like, what was Daniel Jones doing over the course of his career so far that led you to believe that in a decision between him and the actual best player on that team, you were going to pay Daniel Jones? And Saquon didn't make any big deal about it. He didn't make a stink about it, but he did try to get his money. The team didn't want to negotiate with him. And when he got his opportunity to walk as a free agent, he did, and went to your divisional rival. And everybody that wants to talk to me about how you don't pay running backs, I don't think you pay all of them, but there's some of them that you do, and he's one. You have to. You don't have to pay him elite wide receiver money, but for what the running back market is, you should probably try to figure out a way to get that deal done. The Giants didn't do it because they thought, for whatever reason, they had all the leverage. Because I don't know why, because Saquon is, I think, in the same tier as Christian McCaffrey, where that guy's a free agent. Everybody's throwing money at him. It's not one team. It's not two teams. It's a bunch of them. And he was able to join the Eagles and make them essentially an NFC title contender.
Yeah. I appreciate Kayvon Thibodeau's take on this too. Here's a quote from the Rich Eisen show from last week. Quote, "It's a business at the end of the day. I never really took it hard," end quote. He said, quote, "I reached out to him. This is a not for long league, so you've got to get paid when you can, and you can't miss out on any dollars. We've seen it before with the past contracts and past players. So I'm happy he was able to get the contract he was seeking," end quote.
There are so many stories of guys who have taken a pay cut for the team, and the moment their production dipped for a second, they were gone. These teams aren't loyal to you. And if they're not going to be loyal to you, why on earth would you sit there and go, well, they drafted me, so I guess I got to stick around for less? That's not how any of this works. And if you, as a person, just a normal person doing a job, have a chance to do the same job for more money somewhere else, you're absolutely going, or you should.
I mean, you would think that these fans need to have a reminder that that Saquon Barkley was a free agent. The Giants did not want to sign him. The Giants did not want to sign him for the money that he felt he was worth. And if the Giants did not want to sign him for the kind of money that he felt he was worth, that it was worth for his services, he has the right to go anywhere. And the Eagles contacted him as a free agent. And yes, it was not collusion. They were cleared of that charge. They reached out to Saquon Barkley, and they offered him a contract that was what he felt his services are worth. So he has a right to take it. Like Kayvon Thibodeau said, and I'm going to say Kayvon Thibodeau as much as I can say Kayvon Thibodeau, because I think it's a great name. I think it's the greatest name ever. Kayvon Thibodeau. And don't tell me it's Thibodeau. It's Thibodeau. I think he has a right to get the money that he's entitled to, that for his services, not to miss out on an opportunity to get paid. Like he said, this is a business. This is not a game. This is a business, and you cannot miss out on a chance to get paid. That's the way this business is. So if the Giant fans really want to boo Saquon Barkley, I hope he has 200 yards on your ass.
Oh, that's going to be a special game.
I hope he puts up 2 on you guys.
He goes back to New York and plays Big Blue over there. That is going to be a special game, and I can't wait to see it. And I don't think that's a good team. That's the other thing with the Giants.
It's a not for long league. You have one shot at this, man.
Like if you're talking about a team being smart, and you don't pay running backs because you just don't, and that's what the analytics say, and all of this other stuff. Fine, cool, whatever. You just failed to pay Saquon Barkley to continue to be a bad team. So good for you. Fantastic. Well done. You're not going to a Super Bowl. You're not going to an NFC title game. I'd be shocked if you sniffed the playoffs. That's not a good roster. So what are you saving the money for? Who?
Well, I mean, good luck with Danny Dimes as your quarterback.
They tried to get rid of him this offseason. He wasn't thrilled by the fact that they tried to move up in the draft to get a guy.
And they paid him an ungodly amount of money. Was it $250 million?
Yeah,
240 million, something like that. An ungodly amount of money for your quarterback, who's not that good.
He's boy, 47 mil for Daniel Jones this season, 18% of the team's salary cap. Daniel Jones. Oh boy. He's a $41 million cap hit next season. He's $58 million the season after that.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. 4 years,
Good luck.
160 mil total.
Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley's making the money he wanted, and it wouldn't have been that hard to sign him instead of franchise tagging him. And then he wasn't asking for the moon. If I recall this right, Saquon Barkley was not asking for the moon. I think he was asking for $10 million a year or something. It's not like he was asking for the moon. It's not like he wanted a, $50 million a year contract.
He wasn't asking to be paid more than Christian McCaffrey is right now. And he acknowledged, look, I think Christian McCaffrey's a better running back than me. He said he's the best running back in football right now. Like Saquon Barkley, very pragmatic, quite frankly.
And well, yeah. And I think he has to be in the NFL. I think he has to be honest with you. 888-368-1580. The Tom says Saquon should get his money and he needs to get it now. Sincerely, J.G. Wentworth. Well, that's true.
Saquon Barkley is currently on a 3-year, $37 million deal. That's the money he was asking for. he wasn't trying to,
wasn't trying to break the bank, man.
Yeah. That is a reasonable amount of money for what that guy gives you.
110%. Yeah.
And anytime Daniel Jones looked good, Saquon Barkley was on the field. And anytime Daniel Jones looked like Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley was not on the field. So do with that information what you will.
That's a true statement. Ringless Joe says, Keon, my dream bet won the other week. Fever 2 on Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow.
Good for you. I would not have made those bets, but
Ringless Joe, I want to.
It hit for you.
I'm glad that you won. How much did you take home?
I don't root against people making money.
No way, man.
So, hey, congrats, man.
Especially in this economy. You kidding me? Absolutely. 888-368-1580. So I mean that's my feelings. I hope they don't boo them. They are going to.
Oh, they're absolutely going to. It's New York, and they're going to take it personally. And you've got a bunch of the talking heads on New York radio taking it personally and being sensitive about this, but your team didn't pay the guy what he asked for, and it was a reasonable ask. He didn't ask to be the highest running back contract of all time.
No.
He didn't ask for any of that. He simply asked.
And the who you should boo is your general manager. That's who you should boo.
Yeah, he was asking for like $12 million a year, which is, again, when someone is your best offensive player, that makes sense. You can't just replace Saquon Barkley with any old guy. Clearly, the Giants couldn't do it.
And I hate hearing this. Well, there's just not a market for running backs anymore. Really? Really? Have you watched football lately?
And I understand that you can draft a running back and that you can do it by committee and all of these things. And those are just other options. But when you have the Christian McCaffreys, the Saquon Barkleys, the Derrick Henrys in his prime, you pay those guys. The reason why the Titans were able to remain relevant, despite the fact that their quarterback was Ryan Tannehill for a long time. Tannehill was just okay. He wasn't great, but he was all right. The reason why they were able to do that is because they paid the actual best football player on their team, which was a running back. Sometimes that's the case, and sometimes you've got to pay that dude.
Well, we've got the fantasy draft, I'm sure, coming up again soon. So, these are all things you need to remember. I'm giving this to you because, the fantasy. Hey, look, it's July, and all the training camps open up in the about third week of July.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Football is almost here, folks.
Oh, we are so back.
Football is almost here, man. You can almost smell the perspiration right now. He's got his commando shirt on. There he is.
I sure do. I can't wait.
Speaking of running backs, Breece Hall. Some of you had him in fantasy football, I know, and he got hurt. It was a terrible thing to see him go down. But Breece Hall has been working very hard to return from that surgery that he had on his knee. He wants to play in the New York Jets season opener. That's because they're opening up against the San Francisco 49ers, and he wants to be on the field when Christian McCaffrey is on the field. Someone he considers the best running back in the NFL. It feels like his knee is great. He's not concerned about it. And it will be nearly 2 years removed from his ACL tear. And he's ready to, in his mind, ascend to an elite level.
He was on his way before that injury.
Breece Hall is ready to go I hope and pray that he does not get injured before September 9th. Because he's got that. I know he's got it circled on his calendar in red. That's when he wants to be out there he wants to go against Christian McCaffrey, and he wants the whole nation, everybody watching the game, to see that he's back. Just because he's saying this, I might pick him up as my RB2.
I had him as his rookie season as RB1, man. That was fun before he got hurt.
I mean, if he
that guy can ball.
If he's there, when I pick 12th or 9th or 13th or whatever the hell it is, the bottom of the draft, like I always do, that might be one of my sneaky picks. If I don't pick a quarterback first. These guys always tell me don't pick a quarterback first. Jeffrey always tells me don't pick a quarterback first. They'll be there.
The issue, of course, is sometimes you wait a little too long and then there is no quarterback.
Right?
It's just like,
thank you.
Or maybe not a guy that you like,
I'm too nice. I had the chance to really put the screws to Ralph, and I didn't do it.
Which is a shame.
I was picking right before him, and I was going to pick. He told me not to pick. I forget who it was now, but it was one of those elite quarterbacks. Remember?
Yeah.
If you pick him, I swear, Randy. Well, you can swear all you want to. Maybe I did. I should have done it.
Yeah.
Dadgummit. I'm too nice. I'll be honest with you. But I feel like maybe Breece Hall is. He's got that confidence in his head. He feels like his knee is good. He's using it. He's been to the OTAs. He's cleared for all the contact. I can't wait, man. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, man. And the training camps open their rusty doors, and it's back to football.
Oh, man.
You can almost hear the Sam Spence music in the background.
There it is.
Back to football.
The voice of John Facenda. Let's go. The game of football is a Raider.
Yeah. The autumn wind blows like a pirate. All right, we got more to talk about when we come back. I don't know what. Oh my gosh, there's some more NFL news. I can't believe it, but Jamarcus Russell is in the news. We'll talk about that. And just for Keon, we've got a little WNBA in here too. We'll be talking about that and a whole lot more, gang. Don't go anywhere. It's a Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Monday, the official date that Texas and Oklahoma joined the SEC, making it a 16-league conference. The Longhorns, who made the college football playoff last year, are the second betting favorite to win the conference championship. Texas is a plus 350, right behind the Georgia Bulldogs, who are the top betting favorite at plus 180. Ole Miss plus 700 to win the SEC this upcoming season. Alabama is plus 750. LSU is plus 950. Oklahoma, the newest member of the SEC, is plus 3,300 to win this year's conference championship. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Mom, where are my keys?
Why do I have to take out the garbage? I'm too sick to go to school. Quit hogging the bathroom!
If you're having a hard time living with all the noise, it's even harder to live without it. Fake pills with fentanyl are the #1 killer of youth in Arizona. Learn how to talk to your kids at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
One of the most common questions people ask is if they can still afford to retire on $1 million or $2 million anymore. With stocks near all-time highs and bonds at all-time lows, it's actually a great question. 2008 taught millions of retiring engineers, teachers, and other professionals a costly lesson that years of market gains can be wiped out in just weeks of market losses. Not a problem if you're 30 years old with a few decades to make it back, but not if you are in retirement or almost there. I like to follow the 30-50-70 rule. The closer you are to 50 or 70, then at least 30 to 50% of your money should be kept safe at all times, like in an uncapped, principal secure, next generation annuity. Come and see why.
Call leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now at 480-902-3333. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so compare with Steve. Call 480-902-3333 and visit iqannuity.com.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
And we're the Weekend Warriors.
Ralph, I think we should change the name of our show.
To what?
Let's call it 30 Years Sports Talk Interview Fun Time.
What kind of name is that?
Well, we've been friends for over 30 years.
Yeah.
We talk about sports.
Sure.
We interview personalities from the Arizona sports scene.
Okay.
And we have fun.
Dude, are you done?
For now, yes.
Look, Neil, all this is true, but let's just stick to our regular name.
Okay, Ralph, but I think my name is better.
Anyways, it's the Weekend Warriors every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. We are heading towards 6 o'clock tonight. Jeffrey O'Brien on vacation. I'm Randy White right over there. That is the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio. That is Keon Rose, and you are the fourth dimension. On the text line at 888-368-1580. Angry Texan says, hot dog, potato cakes are back at Arby's. This is a joyous day. Okay, wait. Hot dog potato cakes are back at Arby's. Hot dog potato. Did I launch a nuke or something? Is that like a code? Hot dog potato cakes? Anyway, well, thanks for letting us know, Angry Texan, and I appreciate that. Big George says, Randy, remember the year we helped each other in the draft? Those were the days. That was 5 years ago, and I have not sniffed the Premier League since. Sigh. I do remember that, Big George. You helped me. Wow. I remember that. We were at a remote. It was downtown. There was like a tree in the middle of this bar we were at, like a big giant tree.
Interesting.
And no, it wasn't Big George. It was an actual
could be
tree.
Confused for a big giant tree.
Yeah, it was. I think it was something like the park or something like that was the bar. I don't know. And they had this wall with all these draft beers on it, and you go over there and you buy so many. You get so many draft beers, and you go over there with the thing, and you pour your own draft beer. It's kind of cool.
I like.
We haven't been back there. I mean, that was kind of a cool place. Ah, yes, Big George. Those were the days.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The 9483 says, "Hey guys, this is Beer Nuts. I'm officially now an Arizonan. Got a new number with the AZ area code. Hey, well, good for you. I'll try to figure out how to put this in here as Beer Nuts. I'm gonna try to figure out how to do this. Just give me a second here. Let's see. Archive, no. Block, no. No. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is it. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. It's Beer Nuts. Hey, Beer Nuts. It's good to have you. Edit. And we're going with right there. We're going with Beer Nuts. There he is. Save. Look at that. Did I not just edit the list here? Of course I did. Ringless Joe wants to know, did y'all see there's going to be a new WNBA team? The Golden State Valkyries. Also, I won about 150 from both those wins, Randy. Wow, good for you.
All right. There you go.
Good for you,
man.
Ringless
That's how
Joe.
you do it.
Can't believe that.
Yeah,
150.
they announced that expansion back in May. The Golden State expansion team. There's also going to be a Toronto team. So the Golden State team is going to be a 2025 team. And then they're going to add a team in Toronto in 2026. So they've already got plans to expand the league, and it's exciting, man. If you like the sport.
Yeah, I mean,
which I do. So
well, I mean, everybody loves basketball in one form or another, right? It's just some of us guys. I don't particularly watch the WNBA. That's just me. I'm not a big basketball fan, though. I hold nothing against you or anybody else that watches the WNBA.
And I've never been one of those people that's tried to, beat people over the head with watching the WNBA. If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't. Like you don't have to force yourself. If you give it a chance, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed it enough to come back. Like to me, that's how you grow a game. You don't try to guilt people into not watching it.
I will say this though, Keon, since you and I are friends and we've been on the show together, and I've heard you talk about it, and I do watch some of the highlights, and I will say, the WNBA is a physical game.
Yeah,
it is. You don't see any flopping out there. There's no flopping.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a group of people who, like, you don't produce in the WNBA. The rest of your career will be in Australia. Your family will never watch you play basketball again.
I will tell you that it is a physical sport, and I find it funny that some of the girls have picked up this new trend. Angel Reese has been doing with the eyelashes, the big long eyelashes.
Yeah, that's maybe
some of the girls are doing that. Some of them can pull it off, and then some of them really can't, though.
It's not that new, honestly. But
it's not.
No, but not everybody does. you know, so it's just a matter of
right. But there's some of the girls that can, and then like Angel Reese, she can pull it off. She's okay. But no moist one. That's not what I meant. See, I have to think when I'm talking on the radio,
especially with the moist one in the fourth dimension.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. Moist one.
He lulls you into a false sense of security because he takes some days off.
Oh yeah,
and then he shows up, and you're like, "That's
there
the moist one. There he is. There he is."
But I can't think of the one gal. There was one gal. It just didn't look right on her. I don't know if it was. I don't know if they were just too big for her. I don't know what it was. Anyway, I don't want to get in trouble here.
I don't know the world of lashes myself, so can't really.
Not a big lash guy myself.
Can't really commentate on it, but you know, do what you like.
I think it's fun how some of the girls are their hair is really long and they're just leaving it long and they're coloring it like these vibrant colors.
Yeah,
I think it's fun.
Caitlin Clark's teammate Aaliyah Boston's got the pink and yellow going on.
Yeah, I've
rocking
seen a few of them. But anyway, let's see here. Brandon Ayuk, former ASU Sun Devil, by the way, forks up everybody. Brandon Ayuk says that he doesn't feel like he's going to start the season wearing a 49ers jersey. He doesn't feel like he's going to start the season because they can't seem to get this thing going on here. Brandon Ayuk, one of Brock Purdy's favorites to throw to, just feels like he's looking for a lucrative 49ers contract extension. He says that they're kind of far apart. They can't quite get together. Again, we talk about Saquon Barkley. This is a get what you can while you can league, and it's not going to last forever. And the bottom line is, I don't know what the 49ers can and cannot do, but why wouldn't you figure out a way to extend Brandon Ayuk? Why wouldn't you get creative with a way to extend him and keep him?
I mean, I think that would be the ideal goal. And they did talk to him. They brought him in because they heard everything he was saying this offseason and said, hey, let's just sit down and talk about it. And he left that meeting with them, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, feeling a little bit better about his future there. But the fact is, the NFL has a hard salary cap. Like, we're looking at the Celtics, they win a title, and then they have the ability to just double down on everybody because you can just go over the cap. And if you're willing to pay the luxury tax, you're fine. And as long as you don't have to make certain trades or add certain pieces to your squad, you're going to be okay. The Niners are the kind of team that don't really need to add a whole lot. They go to the Super Bowl often enough. They just haven't been able to finish the job against Patrick Mahomes. But like they've got a roster that's really good. The problem is the amount of mouths they've got to feed on that team. You know, when you look at some of the contracts that are coming up, they just paid McCaffrey. They're going to have to figure out what to do with some of the linebackers that they've got going on. They've got to figure out how they're going to pay Purdy on top of all of that. You know, the Debo's making a lot of money. Left tackle Trent Williams making a lot of money. Nick Bosa making a lot of money. And then, you know, potentially, I think you're going to have to figure out how to pay Dre Greenlaw as well. Like, they're encountering the problem that a lot of teams that have been successful for a while face, which is that those rookie deals are running out, and these guys don't want to play for rookie money anymore. They want their actual
big
cash
bag money.
Yeah. And they're willing to make a lot of noise over it. And just the way that it has proven to work out, the earlier you start making noise, the better. You don't wait until you're a free agent to make some noise. You start pushing the team and letting them know, hey, I deserve to be paid right now. And in the case of Brandon Ayuk is looking around and he sees Justin Jefferson getting paid, and he's seeing some of these other guys just make a ton of wide receiver money. He's feeling a little left out for how important he is to that team. But I just don't know how they pay him and Purdy and Greenlaw. And like they draft really well. So like somebody's going to just have to be left out in the cold and be replaced by a rookie. But do you want that to be Brandon Ayuk?
So it looked like in the Super Bowl, he caught 6 targets for 49 receiving yards. He had 3 receptions and 1 touchdown in the championship game, and 3 receptions in the divisional round against the Green Bay Packers after being targeted eight times and 6 times respectively. It seems like his production went down towards the big game. And, I think that's something else that he feels like maybe they're phasing me out. They know I'm not going to be there. So, but why would you change something that worked so well? Didn't he have over 1,000 yards doesn't he have over 1,000 yards for several years in his career? And he's gone 100 yards several times this past year in receiving. He scored all kinds of touchdowns. Why would you start to phase, turn the volume down on Brandon Ayuk and go a different way?
Yeah, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for Brandon Ayuk. I genuinely don't know. Guy's 25 years old. And part of it too is you get to the playoffs. Obviously, teams are trying to take things away from you. So what works during the regular season is exactly what teams are going to try to take away from you in the postseason. So I don't know exactly if the game plan was let's not go to Brandon so much as Brandon's been taken away. What is our other way to go out and win football games? And that's just the way it shook out. Brandon's not going to see it that way.
No.
He's going to go out there and see it as, yeah, look, I'm still a guy that got 1,300 yards last year as a wide receiver. I was averaging 17 yards a reception. And when Deebo Samuel got injured and when Trent Williams got injured and that ground game for San Francisco was in trouble, it was Ayuk who stepped up and actually played really big for the Niners and kept them not just in contention, but kept them at the top of the NFC through what he was able to do until those guys were healthy again. And so what happens if a Deebo Samuel is injured and you have let Brandon Ayuk walk or you've traded him away? That I don't think that the Niners are interested in moving on from Brandon Ayuk, but getting creative with the cap is only going to work for so long. And at a certain point, you've kicked the can down the road, because that's how a lot of NFL teams make it work, is like you just keep pushing the money further and further back until, I owe this guy a bunch of money and I don't have the cap space to pay everybody. So now I'm paying dead money to this player and this player. Like it's what the Saints have done. The Saints kicked that can down the road forever, and now they're paying the price for multiple seasons. I don't think the Niners want to be trapped in that place. So I understand trying to figure out how to hold off on the Ayuk deal. I just don't think they want to rush into it, because I don't know that they've got the flexibility with all the players that they need to pay in the next couple of seasons to make that work.
It's like the Saquon Barkley situation. You got to get it while you can.
Yeah.
And maybe he's not going to be a 49er. Maybe, and remember, he played with Jaden Daniels. Maybe he becomes a commando.
He keeps saying it. I wouldn't believe it, because just like nothing good ever happens to the Commanders. but he keeps bringing it up, and nobody asks him.
Yeah.
He's bringing it up on purpose. He was on that Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark. I think it's a very good podcast, by the way. I think Ryan Clark's a fantastic interviewer. But he was on the podcast, and Jaden Daniels was there as well. So that's already kind of, they've been hanging out. But Jaden wasn't the focus of the podcast. He was kind of off to the side. And it was Ayuk who brought up, well, when he said, well, who would you like to play for if you're not a Niner? And Ayuk said, I'd like to play with that guy over there. And he pointed to Jaden over sitting over in the corner, trying not to say anything. Because Jaden's a rookie. He's not trying to make waves. But Brandon Ayuk really wants to play with Jaden Daniels. And he's the one that keeps mentioning it. Like, I'm not jumping to conclusions. But I don't know, because I think the Commanders are also being very shrewd with their money. So I don't think that they're going to just jump out and pay Brandon Ayuk until they think they might actually be a playoff team, which they're a little bit away from.
I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be just fine. I think he's going to garner a huge contract, whether it be with the 49ers or somebody else, maybe the Commandos. I think he's going to be just fine. He is that good of a wide receiver, and he's reliable. He's been pretty healthy, and I think no matter what happens, I think Brandon Ayuk is going to land on his feet. So we got to take a break, and when we come back, we have much more to talk about. And on this date in Big Georgia sports history, and some WNBA stuff. Hey, it's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Because you want to hear bacon and eggs on your outdoor griddle, not the scraping of rust. Introducing the Weber Slate rust-resistant griddle. Stays ready, not rusty, with a carbon steel cooktop, pre-seasoned and ready to cook on right out of the box. The Weber Slate heats evenly edge to edge up to 500 degrees. All you'll hear is the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Slate rust-resistant griddle just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
So what did the doctor say?
He said I might need surgery.
Wow, it's that serious.
Well, we won't know for sure until I talk with the surgeon, but I'm lost. This is all new to me.
The decision to have surgery isn't easy, but neither is living with pain.
There is an alternative to surgery. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach and can restore pain-free joint function so you can avoid surgery. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. We also help restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and also improves cognition and emotional stability. So when traditional medicine suggests you need surgery, how about taking another approach? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Screen time's over.
Be home by 11?
Put your phone down while we're eating.
When parents set boundaries, keep track of where their kids go, and talk to them about the dangers of underage drinking and drugs, they keep their kids safe. Visit TalkNowAZ.com. Be the influence. Talk early. Talk often. Talk now.
Thanks. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
If you're rolling over your 401k to an IRA soon, but not sure if you want to go all in on this crazy market, here's what many retiring professionals are doing. How about a safe and secure IRA offering a contractually guaranteed 10% income bonus that grows 7% annually guaranteed? Your income can double in 10 years. Meanwhile, neither your principal nor your retirement income is ever subjected to a market downturn. Even if the market crashes by 50%, you get the 10% bonus. Your income keeps growing at 7%, and your principal may grow without losses uncapped. You go up with the index, never down, forward, never back. Get a 10% income bonus with a 7% contractually guaranteed growth rate. I compare over 1,200 annuities with a fiduciary duty and can help you retire and stay retired.
Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so compare with leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now. Visit IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com.
Your home for sports. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
It's the final segments of the Monday edition of Daily Blender here on this July 1st. Remember, don't forget, pay your rents or your mortgage or your lease July 1st. And because we're in July, it also should be maybe a day of celebration, as we are now inside 22 days until the opening of training camp for the NFL.
We're so close. We're this close.
I believe almost every training camp opens July 23rd, except for a couple that are opening sooner because they play in that ridiculous Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. I wouldn't say it's ridiculous. It's just a preseason game.
It's
just the first preseason game.
I don't know.
If you were if you were already not watching preseason, just don't watch that game like you don't watch any of them.
It's kind of I feel like it's kind of ridiculous, but listen.
I don't know. It's just preseason. It's just
here's the thing. I don't have to watch it because I don't want to.
Yeah.
So
it's the preseason game to kick off all the preseason games.
And I don't have to complain about it. I just hey, if you want to watch it, watch it. It's great.
If my team's not in it, not watching it. And if my team is in it, that's still not a guarantee that I'm watching it. And
I just feel like, there should be something else rather than two professional football teams playing a meaningless football game in Canton on a field at the Hall of Fame.
But they're already going to play the meaningless game.
Well, I mean, yeah, but let them play. You know what I mean? Let them play when preseason opens instead of
it's like the next week,
a week earlier, right?
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know what difference it makes, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's kind of like the home run derby to me. You know, it's like, why? I understand it's for the fans, and but how many? I mean, really. I would love to know how many of the Fourth Dimension watches the home run derby. And don't get on me about, I can't stand baseball. It really is stupid and it's slow. I wouldn't watch it. I don't want to hear that. I want to know who does watch the All-Star home run derby.
I used to watch it all the time. And then, I don't know, I turned like 22 years old and I'm like, I think I might be too old for this. Like, I remember when I was a kid, it was magical. And as the older I got, just the less it meant to me. I think the home run derby is cool for kids to watch. I
see now. I will grant you that. I will grant you that.
I am now 34. I just don't have the interest in the home run derby that I used to.
I think that instead of making this a paid event for people to go, and I think the baseball is missing a wonderful opportunity to bring a bunch of kids in and let them sit in there and watch the pro ball players hit the ball out of the park.
Yeah, I can see
that's what I think.
I see the logic in that because I don't know. Once you reach a certain level, especially if you've enjoyed the game as an adult, like at some point the game gets to be more interesting than all the home run stuff. Home runs aren't as important to you as a fan of the game because you understand like more of the nuances of it. So like you just don't need the home run derby to get all excited about the All-Star game. I still watch the All-Star game. It's like the game. I'm just not a big fan of the home run derby anymore.
I liked it better when the game stood for something.
Yeah, I mean, that was better, but I still think that like the MLB All-Star game is one of the few All-Star games where I think people still try because nobody wants to look absolutely terrible on national television in a way that like the Pro Bowl football players do not mind looking terrible. And we've already seen how hilariously bad the NBA and their defense is. Like nobody
they should
minds.
Cancel the damn NBA All-Star game.
Yeah,
just cancel it.
Adam Silver looked like he wanted to cry after that game. It was so bad. So I compared to those sports, I still think that there is effort in an MLB All-Star game. So I watch it.
The Moist One says, bring the 10 out format back and make the All-Star game mean something again. Yeah, I think I would agree with you. One of two of those things. Make the All-Star game mean something. Remember, they have spring training. They play a month of meaningless games called preseason. And they have that in the spring. Play this damn All-Star game in the spring. You know what I mean? Play it next spring. Play spring ball and let the All-Star game be something. But I hate it in the middle of the season. And everybody, the leagues, the players, although it's an honor to be there, it's a great opportunity. But a lot of the managers just hate it because what if somebody goes out there, God forbid, and they tweak a hamstring or they tear a tendon, or the pitchers who are going out there being competitive on the hill, they're not throwing 75%. I mean, they're bringing the heat, man. You think Paul Skeens is going to walk out there for the Pirates and do something? Because the fans don't want to see him throw 78. They want to see him throw 102. That's what he's going to bring.
And he's going to throw it because he himself is a competitor out there and wants to look good. I feel for some of these managers because, of course, it's an all-star game. So it's always one of your best players. If something bad happens, it's a great player. That's usually how that works.
Ralph with Harmon Solar. Who? Oh, that's right. He used to be on the show all the time. Oh, Ralph. I got you. Hey, Ralph.
It's been so long.
Doing? He says he'll watch the Hall of Fame game. I want to see Caleb Williams. Well, I mean, why? He's only going to be in there, 4 downs?
You'd still like to see it. I would. I didn't realize it was the Bears. That's how little I cared about. Are the
Bears in the Hall of Fame game?
The Hall, I guess.
Jeez. Man. I wonder how many Bears hats and T-shirts that Ralph has already amassed at his house.
At least one Bears Caleb Williams jersey is on its way. I would have to assume.
888-368-1580. We better do this before we run out of time. I don't want to miss this, and then we'll finish it out from here. But it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in 2011, the New York Mets paid the first installment of the remaining contract money left to Bobby Bonilla in the form of $1,198,248.20, and will do so every July 1st through 2035 when the former player turns 72 years old.
Just every July 1st, a cool $1 million hits the bank account. That has to feel fantastic.
His original contract was only for like $26 million. But because they're paying this off like the way they are at 8% interest, they're going to pay him over $32 million.
That's just such a bad idea. I still don't understand how they were able to. Who convinced whom that this was a good idea?
Well, the Mets made the move because the team believed that they were going to have significant funds in the future due to that Bernie Madoff thing. That Bernie Madoff investment scheme.
Which I get, but even then, if you thought you were going to have significant funds, you're still overpaying for the guy by your own valuation by like $6 million.
Keon, that's called being money stupid right there.
Yeah.
That's what the Mets were.
It's just
money stupid.
It's listen, I've had some rough financial situations myself where you just barely have any money. And then the moment any money hits your bank account, you're like, oh my God. And then you start spending money that you just don't even have really.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't expect that from a Major League Baseball organization. That seems really short-sighted and dumb.
Well, especially one that's in New York City where the stock market is and all those investors. And you would think
you couldn't hire one finance guy to tell you no.
Guy? Yeah.
No, that's a bad idea. Don't do that.
This Madoff thing's probably not a good idea. Just saying. All right, 888-368-1580. Did you see the Angel Reese thing last night? She recorded her 10th consecutive double-double.
She's just breaking her own record now.
I mean, she's going out there and she's playing basketball, and I think it's wonderful. I think she's doing great. I think that what she's accomplishing is really helping her. Although the team lost, I mean, did they lose last night? I think they did. Anyway, the forward for the Chicago Sky set a league record for the most consecutive games with a double-double during a single season in Sunday's 70-62 loss to the Lynx. Reese scored 10 points, grabbed 17 rebounds, reaching double-double figures in both categories for the 10th straight game. Wow. I mean, that's something there.
Yeah.
And the way these girls are fighting for that ball under the basket is pretty amazing.
She was double teamed the other day. They were playing the Aces when she got double number 9. And there was a 3-point shot that went up and she was being double teamed by the Aces who are loaded. And Asia Wilson was one of the people double teaming her. And Asia is, in my opinion, going to be the MVP this season. And she just grabbed the board and then went reverse layup on the other side. Just finished the shot. I mean, it was incredible.
She got stuffed, right? I mean, she got stuffed and she got the ball back and went reverse side. So yeah. That's not what I mean.
Moist
not
one.
What I mean. Moist one.
Yeah, don't do it. I'm just asking you very kindly. Don't do it.
Then Caitlin Clark, she broke the franchise record for rookie assists with the Fever last night as they beat the Phoenix Mercury. They were actually down. Phoenix had them down, but the Fever came back, 188-82. It was the first matchup between Caitlin Clark and Diana Taurasi, who, by the way, after the game, I guess changed her tune about Caitlin Clark.
Taurasi was never anti-Caitlin.
Well, I don't think she was anti. She just kind of left it, well, This is a tough league. We'll see how it goes. When they kept asking her about Kaylee Clark,
Well,
and
yeah, I mean,
she gained a lot of respect for her last night.
This is how this league works. You have to earn it. You have to go out there and prove to the other stars in this league you belong, and they're not really going to respect you until you show them that.
Yeah.
And being good at basketball in Iowa is nice. But most of the people in this league have won national titles in college. So they're not impressed by you scoring lots of points in Iowa.
Right. So anyway, that happened this weekend. And that's going to draw us to a conclusion here on this Monday edition of the Daily Blender. For Keon Rose, I'm Randy White. We will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye.
When you get nachos, tacos, and